Had a cam on. I don't think I've ever had seen you with a camera on before. But
Yeah, there we go. All right. All the stuff's on. We're here.
nice.
Hey,
Cool. Hey, good to see you. Yeah, nice.
I have a
Cool.
face. There is now a face to the evil.
True. Nice. Well, good to see that, IKEA finally has a face.
I know. It took a long time. Lot of sawdust, but we're here.
Yeah. Um
Sawdust, you say? What are you doing to those poor trees?
What am I not doing to the poor trees? Is
Oh
the
my
better
god.
question.
yeah, why are you hurting Aaron's family?
Why am I? Because I can.
Are you hurting Aaron's family to make more of your own family?
Yeah.
Isn't a necessity?
Yeah, that's how it works.
Make more of your four-legged entities of eldritch horror.
I mean, the fun bit is that you can have many different combinations of legs with tables. You might not even have legs. It might just come out of the side of like a wall.
So I don't have a camera, but I can do this if that's okay.
Hmm? Oh, you know what? Oh, sure, that works. Sure, we can go with that. Yeah,
Okay, great.
yeah, it's cute. Um, all right. I I wonder if Alex knows how to use um Discord because he's a boomer.
One of them. Now one of them.
What does that say? I defend the honor of polyamory. Well, to be honest, oh, there we go.
Hey,
Elder
how's it going?
good.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
That looks like a face.
nice. It's been a while since I've seen you on any panel.
I was just on one on Monday. Can you guys see
Really?
me?
Oh. Yes,
Yeah.
I can see
Yes.
you.
Cool. All right, now I'm gonna hide my
Okay,
icon.
cool. Let me see. Oh, cool. I see Jess. All right,
Nice
very
to
cool.
speak to you. Actually speak to you. We talked in just like Discord messages.
Hello.
Hello. Hi.
Oh,
Greetings.
hello. Yes, it's
Okay.
finally time.
Let me see where. Okay, I think Smashley um will be probably around 30 minutes to 1 hour late. For Alex, he is the original one who wanted it to be at 9 p.m. So let me just message him if he is up for it in 4 minutes. Hello. Where are you at?
Well,
Um,
is Smith doing a polyamory panel at the same time that you're doing a polyamory panel?
That's that's impossible. I
I'm not
think
supposed to be
that's
here.
that's very improbable actually. Um
I mean,
I
it seems like
never
he is.
yeah, I never knew that a person can have two polyamory panels at the same time.
Oh, is he gonna
But
be at this one?
that's called having a polyamory panels.
Oh,
Polyamory
Yeah,
panel.
I
poly
see.
panel for
Okay.
short.
A poly panel. Yeah. Um I wanted to drag Quibbles on.
Oh
But
no, quibbles for
unfortunately,
coffee.
yeah, but unfortunately he was not available tonight.
Okay, him
Yeah,
and I talked about polyamory.
off stream.
No, on stream. He said some
Oh,
stuff when he
well,
talked to Smith,
obviously.
and it pissed me right off. I was like, "Really, dude? You're gonna just say all this dumb shit about it?" And we hashed it out.
Wait, you?
Me and
You?
Quibbles. Yeah.
Oh,
Basically,
I never knew that he talked about polyamory outside of the context of my stream. I
he did
thought
in
that
passing. Oh
okay,
wait,
all right.
when did you talk to him about it?
A couple nights ago.
We actually talked about polyamory on our stream, and we actually had like a humongous debate.
Yeah.
Well, not including me, but involving several of us here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
Last
thought he had really bad takes, like particularly bad.
Oh.
He was still on
Alright,
that
he's not
family
here. He's
bullshit,
not
right?
here right now. He's not here right now, so I don't want to, get too deep
It's
into
nothing I
it.
didn't say to him myself already. Like we hashed this
Yeah, yeah,
out.
yeah, I
I'm not
understand. I
talking shit
understand.
behind his back. I said it
Right,
to his
right,
face.
right. I understand. Yeah. I wanted to, I really wanted to include him because Quibbles brings the energy. All right, he brings an energy. All right.
I can
Wrong
promise you
opposition.
this. I am quite energized over this subject. I knew that this was gonna fucking happen. Everybody was gonna be taking aim at my relationship dynamic because Destiny's is kind of similar. I'm fucking ready.
Oh no. Yeah, we can we can get there in a moment after, after Alex loads in. Because yeah, after Smeth and Alex loads in. Where the heck is Smeth to? Hold on, let me message Smeth. Yo. Where you at, Smeth? Where you at?
I apologize for the coughing. I'm gonna try to move my Discord mute button by my OBS one. I'm recovering from the actual flu, so I'll try to be good about it, but sorry in advance.
Not from COVID, I hope.
No, the actual flu, influenza A. I got COVID before, and I'm fat with asthma, and this was worse.
Gotcha.
I actually
Yeah, I
heard
just
that
got
a
over
lot.
influenza B recently, so I feel you. I'm sorry.
Oh Jesus.
I don't know what the difference is between A and B, but
B doesn't feel as bad when you have it, but can cause worse future complications.
ew.
I'm a germaphobe.
Future complications.
Yeah.
I think everybody on this entire panel actually has poly experience. Not a single one does not have poly experience. I'm pretty
Cool.
sure every single person on this entire panel has poly experience. Which will make for like the most interesting. I think that is probably the most interesting part, which would be funny, right? Because if Quills was on here, then it'll be like the one person who's like awkwardly standing there, and he would be like, "Yo, they don't know that I'm actually monogamous." It's like he's like standing there with a cup in the corner, like that one meme.
I would have known.
That
That would be funny as fuck.
moment it becomes a 7v1 debate.
Yeah, but then, I think he likes that kind of energy. The 1v20. At some point he was on a 8 hour to 9 hour, nonstop. The fuck? No, you are not in the waiting room. No, you're not. No, he's not in the
Lies.
waiting room.
I'm looking at it right now. I see nothing.
You're not in the waiting room. Where? What? No, he's talking about the waiting room for the. He's in a waiting room for tomfoolery's Discord server. He is drunk. He is drunk.
That's impressive. Who is it?
He's in the waiting room for tomfoolery's Discord server. Smeth.
Nice.
Oh my gosh.
Link me.
I think Smeth's kind of on the fence about polyamory. I've talked to him about it once or twice.
Oh wait, sorry, not Smeth. Smeth is not.
Is it Alex? Or who's the only other person? I don't know. Table.
Used to be. Or well, no, like I still
Oh,
am.
wait,
I'm
you're
just
Table.
I'm just single right now. Yeah.
That's valid too.
Oh,
Yeah, I
nice.
mean it's
All
hard it's
right.
hard to be poly when you're not in a relationship. Like even one to start with.
No, I think that works.
Okay. Now, where is Alex? To be Smith,
Yeah,
how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I got
Uh,
work in the morning. I got work in the morning at 6 a.m. and after the stream I gotta drive over to my grandma's house because she had a heart attack. So I'm house sitting for her.
what?
Oh my
my
god.
God.
You should
Yeah.
go
I'm so
to
sorry,
her,
man.
not be here.
Yeah, I was
What?
just thinking.
We go to her.
She had a heart attack, Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Wait, it's not like he's
No.
gonna rescue her.
Yeah. She
I
had.
mean,
I'm
that's a
supposed to
fair
house
point.
sit. I'm supposed to house sit for her tonight.
Oh, she's in the hospital now. Okay.
Yes.
I thought this was like a recent development that you were like, well, my grandma had a heart attack, but here I am on this polyamory panel anyway. I'll go to her when I'm done.
No. I'm just gotta
Okay.
sleep at her house.
Okay,
So she
good.
feels okay about it, I guess.
Dedication to the grind.
Yeah, yeah, baby. The grind, the hustle, the streets, the balls, the feet, the dicks.
The what? The balls?
Yes.
You've been
The
on a
feet?
grind set recently, Smith. You've
Oh, yeah.
definitely been going at it. Are you planning on producing content this fast normally? Soon?
I don't know. Whatever works.
That's a
Whatever
good
I can do.
answer. I like that.
Okay.
Wait, who's Aaron?
Hi, that's me.
Oh, okay. Emery says hi.
Hi, Emery. Oh my gosh, I miss you, Emery.
I was a little confused for a minute there. And also, I owe you an apology. Sorry that we never synced up to chat about this exact topic.
Who, me?
Yeah, you and I were supposed to talk about it, and it just got lost in
Oh,
my
that's
brain.
okay. No, don't worry
How
about
many-
it because like my life has been kind of all over the place for the last year, so I'm not
feel
sweating
that.
it.
I've been watching that from the sidelines, and I think like a lot of it has to do with polyamory, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of it, actually all of it has to do with polyamory,
yeah.
which is kind of funny and kind of not.
Excellent.
Well, only
Oh,
funny in the
man.
context that we're here to talk about polyamory.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Hey,
I don't know when I'm supposed to start saying stuff about this.
The fuck? Wait, the fuck?
I'm already
Please.
triggered.
Whoever that was, okay,
Alex.
don't leave again.
Alex, hi.
Oh, there we go. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Wait, Alex, do you have a camera?
Yes, I can turn my on. I just have to go on my computer. Give me a second then.
Yeah, no
I'll have-
problem. Yeah, just give me a second. Don't worry, okay?
Okay, I'll be there. In a-
Yeah.
This is just fun to like prepare and remind myself of Alex. I watched his debate with Mr. Girl, and it's one of the funniest streams of all time. It's just really like comically funny. Even on Alex's, everybody loved it. How funny it was. If you've never seen it, it's top notch.
Everybody loves Raymond.
Alex Alex hosts good panels. It's
Okay. Bye, Alex.
I'm pretty sure it's because he's switching to his computer. That's why.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Hey. No,
Okay.
that's okay. Hey.
Hello?
Hey,
Hello.
hey,
Hello?
Alex,
Oh, there
hi.
you go. Can
Are
you can you hear and see me?
Yeah,
No,
I
Here.
can hear you, but we can't see you. You can click the turn on camera button at the bottom. Do you see that?
Let me try to find it. I'm a complete noob when it comes to Discord.
Discord? Yeah, don't worry. Discord is a lot better than WhatsApp.
Did you
Yeah,
do a lot of stuff with like
Oh.
Erudite?
Oh,
Okay,
we
Okay, there
got
we go. Now I
half
just
a
gotta
cam.
Hold
adjust
on,
my
put
settings.
your camera a little bit below, okay?
No, yeah,
Alright?
it's
Yeah,
using my computer
otherwise
camera.
Ashley
just-
will make fun of you, okay? Alright.
I
Yeah.
got. Oh, she would never do that. I gotta switch over. Okay, there we go. I think I see it.
Okay.
Discord.
Alright.
I just gotta switch from my computer one to my external one. How do I do this? Input.
Oh.
Okay, let me see. Video settings. Okay, this is it. Okay, there we go. Found it. Oh, it's not giving me the option. What the fuck? Okay. Oh,
Are you streaming as well?
no, I'm not.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Oh, I
if
see. I see what happened. My roommate
Mhm.
fucked up this shit up. Okay, this will take me a
Oh,
second.
okay. No, you're
So,
good. Don't worry. Take your time. Yeah. Listen. It's okay,
oh,
Alex. If you're unable, if we're only able to see half of your face, because the
Now we
size
got
of
the other
half of your
half.
face is the same size of anybody's face, really.
Okay,
I
is
like
it?
that we're on the other half now.
Is
yeah,
it
I
better
also
now?
thought that.
Listen,
Okay, there we
Yeah.
go.
Yay!
Oh, cool. Now we got the size of two faces.
Beautiful.
Okay. All
Okay. There
right.
we go.
We have achieved
Um,
Mount Rushmore.
Now I
Congratulations,
gotta figure out
everyone.
how to return back to the original screen. Maybe this. Oh, there we go. Okay, good.
Okay.
Finally.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Yeah. All right, cool. I guess we can begin now. Oh, also by the way, guys, you're free to stream. Yeah, you're free to stream. This is not like food shop stream exclusive. I don't care. I don't
Yeah.
give a fuck.
I'm
Yeah.
currently streaming on all my
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
streaming.
And also another thing is actually I'll get there once I get there, okay? So, here we go. So, let me just begin. All right, cool. Welcome to Food for Thought. I'm your host and moderator, Food Chops. I'll make sure things run smoothly in the background. Tonight's panel will be centered around polyamory, right? From Greek, poly meaning many, and Latin amor meaning love, put together means much love. Polyamory is the practice of or desire for romantic relationships with more than one partner at the same time, with the informed consent of all partners involved. How the panel will go is that we will run the panel for approximately however long it takes for the conversation to die out, but expect around 1.5 hours to 3 hours worth of panel debate and discussion. And then the time afterwards, the panelists can stay for the free for all, where I will drag people on from the crowd at my discretion. And there's an additional thing that I did not add inside, is that if any of the panelists would like to refer people that they know specifically from their crowd, especially if they're like a streamer of some sort, then yeah, they're free to do so as well. And also, finally, let's go one by one on the panel and have our panelists introduce themselves and their broad positions stated on the subject in a short manner with no interruptions. Let's go with Alex from PWF first. Alex, who are you and what's your broad positions on polyamory?
Cool. Yeah. Thanks for hosting this.
Mhm.
My name is Alex. I run a channel called Playing with Fire. We give practical, no BS sex and dating advice. My position is I believe people should be able to do whatever the fuck they want. I certainly am not in favor of any kind of legalization or legal enforcement when it comes to these things. Also, I don't think there's a one size fits all solution. Me personally, I'm in a one-way open relationship. I would not consider that polyamory because I do not date other girls. I do not do anything romantic with other girls. I will occasionally have sex with other girls, and that's about the extent of it. So I don't think that would qualify as polyamory. I have seen polyamorous relationships fall apart, like two-way open relationships or whatever you want to call them. Do they fall apart more than regular relationships? I'm not sure. I do think this might be a controversial opinion that probably on average, again, we're talking purely in averages here, men are probably a little bit better at having no strings attached, casual sex with a girl, and like not getting attached than women are. So that's why generally I've seen two-way open relationships fall apart a lot. My relationship is going on for over 3 years now. It's going strong. We're doing really great. So probably the best relationship I've ever been in, and I've been in both monogamous and non-monogamous relationships. But yeah, I mean, again, I think that there's no one size fits all solution. It's kind of like exercise. Some people do better with weightlifting. Some people prefer running. Some people prefer swimming. There's no like one exercise is superior to all. But yeah, that's basically my position, I would say.
Okay, thank you. All right, Elder Drazi, introduce yourself and position. Go.
All right, I'm Eldrazi. I'm polyamorous as fuck. I basically think that any kind of non-traditional relationships, as long as nobody is being like actively harmed, uh, including like as long as everybody's consented in the know, I think that there's nothing wrong with it. I think that monogamy is mostly um, enforced upon people before they even have any ability to determine basically anything. The first time you engage with any medium of media, you're already getting like defined relationship norms. Like the very first story you ever see is probably going to have a romantic element in it, and it's going to be a monogamous one. So I just think that most people really don't have a chance to actually see how they feel about it. I do think I just want to point out that Alex is correct. He's not in a polyamorous relationship. Open is a totally different thing. And that's I think it's probably pretty good for the opening.
Okay, awesome. All right, Jess, hello.
Hello, I'm Jess. I do have a channel where I sing stuff, but I normally don't do discussions or debates or anything like that. I'm polyamorous, and I have been for over 15 years. So I'm pretty pro poly. As far as like what I think for other people, I think they can be monogamous or polyamorous or whatever, as long as they're being open and honest with everybody involved, and that relationship styles, what's going to work for each individual just varies depending on individual personality. So
Cool, thank you. All right, Leaf.
Hello, my name is Erin. I'm a trans content creator that talks to other trans people, covers trans news and stuff like that. I've had a little bit of experience with polyamory. I'm currently in a polyamorous relationship with 2 other people. It's my first real attempt at it. It's going okay. I think it's definitely something that has a lot of nuance to it. So, yeah, that's pretty much where I stand on it.
Okay, awesome. Smeth.
It scares me, and I don't like it. I think about it because I'm in a relationship, and I'll see like a pretty girl or something, and also in like when you're in a relationship, there's like extra. Like I'm pretty charismatic, but when you're in a relationship, there's an extra boost of confidence that you have because you don't have some. You don't have a need to so like there's like and so like it's like it's like an alluring thing, and I think it's dangerous. I think that I kind of frame it in my mind as um, just being like slutty, and it's okay to be slutty, and if that's the lifestyle you want. But I think that I for me like Alex, you said that you're in like an open relationship, and like that's working for you, and
One
I'm
way
not
open
gonna
relationship. Yeah.
yeah, I'm not gonna say that, like you're doomed or, or something like that. But
Yeah.
for me, when I think about it, it's like that the risks are just so great, and it just seems pretty scary. Like it would cause my relationship to eventually crumble.
Okay, is that thank you, Smith.
What else do you want from me?
Your opening statement. Okay. All right. Okay. IKEA. I mean table. All right.
Hey, I'm basically tabletop or table for short. I'm a near microscopic streamer that paints nearly microscopic things. And lately I've been pushing more and more into the political and discussion sphere, as I spend most of my off time doing that anyway. So, as for poly, my last relationship over its 9 years went from monogamous to open to poly and back for. Actually, I think it actually started with basically poly. Yeah, I think it was basically poly from day one. Then it went to open, and it was close a little bit back and forth. Everything at one point or another. And yeah, I would say if you have the character capability and communication skills, you can absolutely do it if that's your desire. The question is, do you have that skill set?
Oh, okay. By skill set, you mean like tabletop D&D skills? I'm kidding.
Yes, yes,
Okay, yeah,
exactly.
okay. All right, okay. Listen, I know. Okay, so here's the thing. Before we start, I know that recently, even when I was planning it out, I didn't know how events would unfold. So as you guys may well know, Destiny has, and Melina, that has been a event as of late. Here's the thing. All right, I'm actually not gonna restrict talking about that as in reference to the topic, because I'm not a cuck. Okay, all right. Okay.
Someone's
All right.
laughing at you.
Someone's laughing at you,
Oh, that's
Razi.
so weird. It's not showing up on my OBS that it's picking it up. That's my roommate. He's just loud as fuck. I'll mute myself. Go ahead.
No, it's perfect.
Oh, okay. It's don't worry. All right, it's okay. So here's the thing, okay? Is that I think that if you're gonna be talking about it, I just ask you to be respectful. That's it. Use your common sense. And don't just go around and go like, oh, whore, ugly bitch. Oh! No, just be like, okay, in respect to this issue, and I think that we can bring this up as a good example, blah 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 blah, right? Just be respectful, and that's it. And if I feel like you're going too far as the moderator, I'll be the judge of that, you know? And with that, I'll just bring us to the first subtopic or question. Society's perception of polyamory generally tends to lean towards a more negative angle. Do you think that this perception is justified or warranted, or do you think that this is overblown or misrepresented? Why or why not? Begin.
I watched your tabloid thing about the Destiny thing. I didn't like it. It made me uncomfortable. Food shops.
Do we go in order to answer that or anything? I don't know how this
I'm just a
works here.
moderator. I can't. You can't.
Oh,
like,
okay.
just pretend I'm
Well, I
not
don't know
here.
who.
I can't do
Okay,
it.
I didn't know who I was supposed to ask. The public perception is completely fucking irrelevant because if you haven't, like, nobody knows what it is unless they've experienced it. People who are like, well,
Yeah.
polyamory is like a bad, like, if you say polyamory is good, that means you've done it and you've had a good experience. You know somebody who has. If you say it's bad, 10 to 1, you probably don't know anything about it. And if you otherwise think it's bad, it's because you know somebody who had a bad experience with it. If we
Yeah.
talk about somebody who has like an open or a polyamorous relationship failing, go like, see, it can't work. Okay, so then I can use any divorce or any breakup, no matter how bad and messy it is, and say like, well, see, look, it doesn't work. Monogamous people kill their ex-spouses way more often than polyamorous people do. You know how I know that? They got numbers on their side. And if they were polyamorous, that would be in the fucking news article for sure. You don't hear about that shit. So people don't have any idea what they're talking about.
I do agree with Elder. Public perception is irrelevant. There's a bunch of people who believe all kinds of dumb shit. There's about, what was it, 50 to 100 million Americans who believe the election was stolen based on nothing. There's, for example, a bunch of people who believe that, for example, eating bread and milk is good for you, and that eating too much meat is bad. That testosterone makes you aggressive. There's all kinds of people who believe all kinds of dumb shit. So I never really cared about public perception. I think it should be irrelevant to the way you live your life. You should live your life based on what you think is right, based on either research or experiences or even experiences with your friends. But public perception is the very, very, very last thing that you should ever focus on. And yeah, I mean, is it justified? Probably not. I don't know. I haven't really looked into data on this. Do polyamorous relationships, are they more likely to fail or lead to people becoming suicidal than regular relationships? I don't know. I've never looked at that. But if that was the case, it's like, is that a sample bias? Is that because people gravitate towards those relationships are more likely to have blah blah blah? So I don't know. I think at the end of the day, who gives a shit what other people are doing? I could care less if someone is fucking two girls, two guys, whatever. It just makes no difference to me at all. To me, it's the least interesting thing ever, which is what other people are doing with their private life, as long as no one's being harmed and everyone's over 18.
Yeah, I agree with that. Well, like if you find something that works for you and it works for your partner or partners, that's all that really should matter. Is
Yeah.
you and your partner's own happiness.
I mean, it turned
I'm
out
the
that
only
I
one here
was.
that's anti polyamory here. I'm the only
I thought you were on
one.
the bridge. I thought you were like on the fence on the bridge. What the fuck?
No,
But, you know,
no. Last time you talked to me, I was against it. Then I was like, oh, maybe, but no. I think that there are
well,
upsides
what
and
the fuck's your
downsides.
problem?
There's upsides and downsides to monogamy, and there are upsides and downsides to polyamory. And I think that the like so it's fine. I think it's fine to do polyamory and stuff, but I just think it is a low commitment. Like it is like being a teenager or being like I just think that if you are still in poly relationships and you're like 50 and stuff, like your life is gonna be in a state of chaos and it'll be like hellish.
It's
Saying
actually
it's low
the other
commitment's
way.
insane.
It's actually the other way around. You have to have more commitment because you're actually doing stuff with other people, and then coming back to your original, or originals, or whatever.
I could see it both ways in terms of what he said, but I would just, my question being, in your opening statement, you said that you find elements of polyamory scary. I guess I'm curious, what specifically do you find scary about it?
So like I play with it in my mind thinking about it like what if I'd try it and what if like I'm in a relationship, what if I introduce this into my like relationship, or What if I like build a relationship around this or something? And it's like that could go good. It could also go bad, and it's just a like massive risk. And
Is it any
uh,
more of a risk than like a monogamous relationship? I mean, you could
Yeah,
say the same things.
I think
it
it's a
sounds
lot
exactly
more.
like you're describing a regular relationship
No, because
pretext.
one relationship has the risks involved and the chaos involved of two minds, and one relationship. But when you have two relationships at the same time, now you got the chaos of four people's minds, four people's feelings, and it's like the amount of turbulence that is possible. Because in any monogamous relationship, shit can happen, shit can go. Like someone can have an event happen or something, and that affects everybody. In a polyamorous relationship, if one person in the polycule has some kind of fucked up thing happen, that affects everybody in some way. And all the needs of everybody like the thing about monogamy is that you have a rock, okay? And when you are splitting that rock, that because you are tying yourself and your needs to like one person, you're emotionally like tying down to one person. When you split up that rock, what you're doing is you're intermingling these needs in a spider web that has much more like it's like the difference between like a single direction circuit and like a really complicated like mess of wires in like obsidian India.
Except
I do see the
it's
point
not
Beth is
splitting
making.
up the rock, it's adding more rocks.
I don't believe that
Yeah,
you
No, well,
can
it's
just
you're not
I
And
you
don't
don't have
believe
not
less
everybody
person.
is.
you are one person,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
So
So,
you have a
true.
finite amount of time. You have a
uh-huh.
finite amount of emotional energy. You have a finite amount of all these things. And I think that if you have two partners who you care about very deeply, what you're doing is you cannot be there for both of them equally, and you have to split that up.
Sure, but not
You
And
all
don't need
poly
to be.
relationships are a chain.
Can I
Some are triangles or squares or
sure.
like
have
much
Not
more
everybody
intricate.
is equally interconnected to the whole polycule.
Yeah,
So
well,
um
however you split that up, it causes there is trade-offs to it, because the main thing about monogamy is you definitely have a if you can trust this one person, you have a solid rock, and it's way easier and it's way more safe.
Have you ever been
I
in a fight
actually
with your
do agree
girlfriend,
with.
Smith?
Have
Oh,
I
I was
ever
just
been
gonna
in a fight with my girlfriend? Yeah.
Yeah. Has it ever been like heated and like you guys have to go into another room and you're just like, fuck, I feel like alone and I'm vulnerable and and like you don't know how to deal with it. Well, sometimes people have another partner who can comfort them in the way that they need to be comforted while they're also really upset and
I want to
vulnerable.
buttress the
yeah.
point that Smith is making because I actually do agree with part of what he said. So he was talking about how like there's more variables in the picture, right? Because instead of two people, there's four people or sometimes six people, right? And like just to use the Destiny example, and I love Destiny. He's a friend of mine. Me and my girlfriend have gone out to eat with him and Melina, so this is not coming from a negative place at all. But if you look at the situation, at least as far as we know, it seems that his girlfriend or his wife, sorry, his wife, met a guy, and then that guy turned out to be all kinds of cray cray and basically messed things up. Right now, part of the responsibility is definitely on Melina's end. There's no denying that, but that seems like that was an extra variable that fucked up the relationship, right? And I think the point he's making is like, well, you have all these additional variables, right? You may trust your own, judgment when it comes to picking partners, but how well do you trust your partner's judgment? Well, you probably trust it to some extent, but people, I'm sure Destiny trusted Melina to a very high extent, right? But she, I guess, picked the wrong partner, right? This person seems very, very crazy
Yeah,
from the
it
descriptions that were
seems
written.
yeah, I
it
don't
seems
want
How is
more
this a poly problem?
wait,
Yeah,
I
this
don't
isn't
want
any
it seems more
relationship problem.
I
of an
don't
indication
wait,
of problems with Destiny and Melina though. Like if she was gonna leave him for somebody, then like it wouldn't matter if like they were poly or monogamous.
Yeah, it would just
Well, if
be
they had a
standard
monogamous
cheating.
relationship, there's a good chance that she might never have even gone on a date with this person.
I don't
If
know.
they were
She was in another
monogamous, she
country,
probably would
but
have started like
I
I don't know.
so regarding like
I don't
what
like this.
What Drazi just said, like if you get in I get in a fight with my girlfriend or something, and both of us
Mhm.
split up and go into separate rooms, and then each of us has a different person to talk to. That sounds awful to me, because what it means. So I want both,
There's a
because
caveat to that. The only rule that I ever suggest in a polycule, and I say I'm never gonna do this. You don't complain about your other partners to
Yeah.
the other partners that you have.
Don't air
That
your
would be
dirty
Yeah.
laundry.
I won't
Okay,
do
so
that.
I guess that
I can
like
still
you
be
need
comforted,
to
though.
have that rule in mind, but still being comforted regardless. So what that means
Yeah.
is you do not have a great incentive to actually be to actually figure out how to communicate effectively with your partner so you don't have these breakdowns, and you will build a family system in which you rely on the other person when you have a breakdown of communication within this relationship. So it's okay that my relationship with you is fucked up and we're going to keep having this problem, because every time this happens, I'm going to go off with this person and they're going to make me feel better. So you
Just
don't
because you're
actually.
taking time to cool down, though, doesn't mean that you're completely ignoring or avoiding communicating with the
No,
like the problem.
what I'm saying is we have a conflict, and we're not the only reason we're not going to to face the conflict head on and like or try to solve it or find a way to live with it is because every time we have this conflict and we feel miserable, I'm just going to go to this other person to get my needs met because fuck you.
That is a
No,
That's
fair
that's
different
still to
point.
get
behavior.
your needs met. It's more akin to like if you're a monogamous person and you've had an argument and you need time to like you just need time away from them, you need to cool down and you go out with friends and you go to a bar
Yes.
or do whatever or hang out, watch some movies, have some girl time, I don't know.
Yeah, but it's not friends because it's like a rock. So you're going to someone else who can give you the important thing that you get from this other person. So when I'm fighting with you, it doesn't matter. I haven't lost anything because I still have someone else. So it doesn't matter. Fuck you.
I mean,
No,
you can have
nobody
best friends
who's
that are rock
polyamorous thinks
too.
like that.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
No,
like,
but
I don't
that's
It's a
how
know.
you
little bit
feel.
of
You get
a
your
There
needs
are some
met.
people that are polyamorous that
Well,
do think like that.
I mean,
it's a
I,
little
I
bit of an
would argue that's not
over
really what they're
exaggeration,
doing
but
then.
I think it happens more on a subconscious level, Smith.
Yeah.
I do agree with your point though, but just not consciously, but subconsciously. Like you get into a fight with your girlfriend, or say you've been fighting for a while, right? And you have other whatever girls that you're free to do your thing with, right? You go out with them, and then now your bond with your main partner is weaker, and your bond with these other people becomes stronger, right? Because if you have a positive interaction, you have sex like that, by default is going to make your bond stronger. Like again, you might not want that to be the case. You consciously, you might be like, no, I'm committed to whatever my main partner, but subconsciously, like attraction and emotions are not logical.
You're putting a
Obviously,
lot of open relationship prescription like or descriptions onto this. Like, you're like, well, I don't want to necessarily strengthen this with this partner because I have my main partner. Like, if you're polyamorous, you're probably not thinking in those kinds of terms. I understand why you would, because that makes sense for being open. And I'm not like shitting on being open. I think that's totally valid and fine too. But
but the
like,
point I'm saying is that thinking has nothing to do with it because it happens on a subconscious level. So you're right. You're not thinking of it in terms of that. I agree with you on that. I'm just saying that a
Typically
whole
the
bunch of
goal
things
of
happen
polyamory
subconsciously.
Typically, the goal of polyamory is that you are trying to form emotional and romantic connections with other people. So, why would strengthening a connection with somebody else be
yeah,
bad? Just because you're strengthening one connection doesn't mean you're weakening the other. If
Okay,
the other
here's
has problems, it has problems, and that's like a separate thing. And like, if it's
Well,
not
I
going to work
guess
out, then that's
also, I know, like, at
an
least
issue.
I have no idea if I've never really been big into like the poly community, so I have no idea if other people do this. I mean, for all I know, other people might think this was a terrible idea, but it worked for us. Because in most of the cases when we were like actually poly, it was all very close. It was effectively like a really close triangle or square, what have you. So when things got particularly bad with communication, for me, I was always one of the most level heads. So it would often be a situation of us sitting down as like the three of us and like say for example me acting as like a moderator to help them talk out whatever communication problem they were having, and thus we were able to take advantage of the scaling of there just being more people available for problem solving.
okay. How about this?
I
I got
think
an
that's good
example.
too.
So sex. Like so this goes even
Oh, just be a whore. No, I'm joking.
more basic than the emotional the emotional needs
That was
thing I'm
our
saying.
solution.
Let's say that you have a sexual dysfunction within your relationship,
Hmm.
and you have a sexual moderator. No, like so, like let's say, like so, you can't always
moderator.
have like that you can't always that won't always work. And there's another
Well,
example would
well,
be
right.
like
Okay, well
so
that's just person
I
so
don't really
scales.
understand what you're saying.
you have a
Well,
sexual I haven't said it yet. You have a sexual dysfunction in your relationship, and so like something you're doing is not working for me, something I'm doing is not working for you. And in a normal relationship, like a normal monogamous relationship, you work these things out, you explore new things, you figure it out. If your solution is just go fuck other people who do it right, then your sexual relationship with that main person will break down because you don't need to solve these problems. You can just find your solution elsewhere.
So
I
why
also
why
really quickly want to comment. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
so what, like, in this hypothetical then, like, what was your reason for connecting with the first person in the first place if it was just sex that was holding it
It was
together?
it wasn't. That's not what my
Okay, then
hypothetical was.
it shouldn't actually like put the relationship at that much risk then.
So losing sex doesn't cause a harm to your relationship, is what you're saying?
Um, it doesn't have to.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it does. I
So
think it's definitionally a harm to have
can I
a
jump in?
dysfunction of sex in your
Okay.
relationship.
I'll let Leaf and Just say, but afterwards I'm gonna
You can
I
jump in
gotta say
anytime.
stuff before my brain explodes.
So I've got a lot of personal experience with sexual dysfunction in my relationship simply because I am kind of discovering that I'm like asexual almost. I really don't have any sexual drive or any motivations to have sex, and both my partners are very sexual oriented people. They are like that's their love language is having sex, and it's been a little bit difficult for me to manage doing something like that, especially when as someone alluded to, the result, like the trying to work it out, there is like one of my partners is like, oh well, we don't ever have sex anymore, and it bothers me and stuff, and the other partner is also very sexual, and so when we try to like work it out and talk about it, it is a little bit hard because the answer always ends up being, well, you just need to have sex with us more, and it doesn't really like acknowledge the needs that I have and stuff, and what's going on in my life, and so it can be a little hard to navigate, but that is one of the core tenets of polyamory is that, well, if these people aren't necessarily meeting your needs, then you should feel that freedom to go explore other options that you might have, get those needs met somewhere else.
That's right. I think that's the upside, but the upside is in itself a downside because that means you don't have the rock. You don't have the rock effect.
What
You're
do you mean
just
the rock
afloat. You're
effect?
afloat. You're afloat in a river. You're not tied down. And you don't have an anchor to rely on. It's going to be consistent that you're going to constantly work on. Any dysfunction is something it's critical
I
to
mean, we
your
still all
life.
like
And
come home to each other. We all still like want to work on our family together and stuff like that. It's like
Or just find someone
having
else.
meaningless sex with some random person just because you need to have sex to feel good about yourself isn't necessarily like a comment on the relationship itself.
also just
Real
Or
quick
learn to
even if
question for
swim.
food shop. Wait, sorry. Can I ask the moderator a real quick question? Would you mind to switch on my phone? My neck is like killing me from like staring at the screen because I've been on
Oh,
my computer all day.
okay, no problem. All right, you can do that. Yes, of course you
All
can.
right.
Yeah, you're
All right,
fine.
cool. I'll be back in
Yeah, you're
like
good.
a minute or two. Then I'll see. I'll
Yeah,
see you in
no
a sec.
Yeah.
problem. You're good. Yeah.
Smashley's in the raid room, by the way.
I don't really understand the whole sexual dysfunction thing necessarily because I would date someone that was asexual. I would have someone that was asexual as a primary partner, hypothetically, if I didn't already have a primary partner. And that wouldn't really, like, that wouldn't be a problem for me. And then, like, even if you have a relationship that is very sexual earlier on, if you're planning to be with somebody forever, there's probably of some point in the future where your relationship is not going to be very sexual just with age and everything that kind of
Don't say
dies
that.
down a bit at least.
Well, yeah, and being trans myself and doing the hormone thing, and I've got a consult. Well, I had a consult for my orchiectomy. We're planning it out in like February or something like that. Like, that's obviously going to very clearly have an impact on my sexual desire and stuff like that. So
Yeah, that's
Um,
not the be all end all of relationships. It is important, and like I do understand also saying that you do I guess kind of you don't rely on one person to necessarily meet all your needs. Like, for example, I have a need to go to the theater with someone because I love musicals, I love plays. My primary partner hates that. So, I might
yeah.
have another partner that loves that stuff and wants to do that with me. And, like, that's fine. I don't know. Why is that a problem? Why does that invalidate my other relationship with my primary partner?
it's not it's I think it's fine, and it's basically like akin to being a free spirit, but I think that it means that your relationships are more free and they are less reliable, and it takes away from all from all the other relationships.
um,
For every other extra sexual partner, it will take away from your sexual, because if you can get any need met from someone else, it means that you're not working on that relationship. You're outsourcing it to some place else.
Okay, I'm gonna say stuff. First, Leaf, I just want to say that
Go ahead
if
and
people
say
are
stuff.
pushing you to have sex and you don't want to, that's a problem. I hope you're advocating for yourself and you're not being pressured into it, or like nobody's putting any like emotional bullshit on you. If that's the case, that's fucked up. Christ, stand up for yourself, please, because that doesn't sound like they're willing to do it for you.
Yeah,
If
thank you for
that's
your
how it sounds.
consideration. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. That kind of stuff freaks me out. And then Smith, what is this rock bullshit? Like, what is the value? And you keep talking about the rock. Like, this is like, you guys, this
Can
is
you
like
smell
the
what it's
sacred
cooking? You
rock
smell what the
from
rock is
Jesus
cooking.
Christ. It has been handed down by God, and this is the objective thing that a relationship must strive for. This is the foundation of all happiness here. We must protect the rock. But love isn't a finite resource. You can't put a spigot in me and see how much love comes out and go, that's all that she can have. So if you're gonna take some of that and give it to her, now she's missing out. That's not like that.
Yeah, it's
What
think
is
it's
this
all-
rock?
I don't
like
agree. I think that you need to get your needs met, and if you have two partners, you are not going to work on getting your needs met, and from one partner, you're outsourcing it to another person. So you're splitting up. So so instead of trying to find a partner and working really hard and painfully to get all of your different needs met and figuring out where there are conflicts that can't be resolved and all of that stuff, instead of doing all of that important and painful work, you just find someone else or you outsource it. That, I think, is a detractor from the relationship, and the thing that process of searching and trying to build and working on these flaws and stuff, and that whole process is very healthy for people. And I think that you lose that grow you're not growing, you're just finding a solution elsewhere. Like, you lose out on that growing process when you outsource it
It's
to other
not
people.
growing the way that you might want to, but I've been with my wife for almost 12 years now. And I think maybe it would be a good idea for the people who are poly to kind of explain the dynamic that they're like used to, or like what they do, because some of this stuff just doesn't apply. Like, I have soloed, like dated outside of my wife, but a lot of times we date in like a triad, or like some people say throuple. And it doesn't seem like most of the time if I have sex with one of them, we're all having sex together. So it doesn't seem like anybody's losing there. Like, I don't really see how, even if it's not like, if I go and hang out with my friends, my wife's missing out on something, I guess, if she's not there. So if I go and hang out with a partner, my wife's missing out in that exact same way. And also too, like when it comes to sex, even if I had like 3 different partners, like what you think, like I come home like, sorry, I know that we were looking forward to having sex, but like my dick's done now. I had sex 3 times this week, no more.
When
So
you
I got
say
that
throuple,
Viagra
do you
for,
mean
baby.
like girl?
So you use Viagra so that you can be a sex toy for someone else beyond the point at which your
I
body
use
wants to keep
Viagra
having
because
sex.
they fucked up my vasectomy.
Okay, well,
I
let's
was
say
just
that
making a
that wasn't
joke.
the case.
I was
Let's
throwing
say-
a joke in there.
Well, let's say that wasn't the case, and let's say that you have sex with with 3 different people, and then
I'm pro drugs.
eventually you won't want to have sex anymore. So you just start taking the Viagra so that you can turn yourself into a dildo, so you can
Oh,
meet the
no.
sexual needs of this other partner.
If I didn't want to have
What?
sex, but like I still wanted to meet their needs, like I can eat some fucking pussy, dude. We got toys, we got shit. There's other ways to do it. I don't have to turn myself into a sex toy. I can just be a good partner
Okay,
in
so
like
you're
fulfilling their
beyond.
desires.
So you are splitting yourself between. So like, there's a certain amount of sex you're going to want to have, and you have 3 partners, and let's say they all want sex from you. So that means that there's a certain amount of sex that you're going to have that you're either ambivalent about or don't want to have, and that's going to be increased in your life.
That's the same as if anytime I've been monogamous, it's been exactly the same then. There have been times
No.
where I've been ambivalent
Yeah.
about wanting to have sex, and I still have sex.
Honestly,
No, hey,
we
okay, no, yes, ambivalence happens during sex, but when you have 3 partners and they all want to have sex with you, now ambivalence happens 3 times more.
no,
Not
it was the
necessarily.
Yes,
You'd be surprised how much my
that is
sex
my
drive goes up
hypothetical.
when I
So
have more than one.
If you want to engage with it or you
yeah.
don't, you can just say not necessarily. But if you, that means you're just disagreeing.
So-
you're
well,
refusing
well,
to
no,
engage
you're
with the
pre you're
hypothetical.
I can engage with it
presupposing
in
your
scientific terms.
you're presupposing your hypothetical with your own conclusion. My experience was the opposite. We were more active the more partners we had. Actually, we actually had more.
makes sense
We had
to me.
more turmoil and more problems when it was just the two of us, more often than not.
Then that is something that you are deprived. That ability to grow and figure that out is something you're depriving yourself of having. So I think that so you continue that lifestyle, I think that like 10 years from now, you will have grown less than someone who had a monogamous relationship.
No,
Maybe you're
I don't know
depriving
about I don't know
yourself
about
of
that.
growing with more people
Yeah.
by being monogamous.
Or I'm
So,
just torturing
Um,
myself unnecessarily. That could be the other option.
That
There's
growing
the
is
thing in your
painful.
brain that makes you desire sex and that makes sex feels better actually gets lit up more when you have more than one partner. This is like scientifically known. This is why people that's why people who cheat tend to do it a lot, because there's a much bigger satisfaction like neurochemically when you have sex with somebody that's
Well,
not with the
duh.
same person over and over again. So what you're saying is like I'm gonna be more ambivalent. No, I am definitely less ambivalent. I don't care if I had sex 3 times that day. If the woman my wife and I see comes over that night, I'm having sex and I'm happy about it. Like, oh guys, I don't want to have a threesome. I already had sex today. No, that's never happened to me. So I just think that it makes sense in theory the way you're saying it, but it doesn't bear out in reality, or and even like science backs up why it's not working out that way.
It all depends on his sex drive. If he has a high sex drive, then it's not an issue. If he has a very low sex drive, then yeah, that could play. But
But then it'd be the
the real
same.
would be the same. Why would it be the same? No, if he has a very low sex drive, then to be less interested in having sex multiple times a day or whatever. If he has a very high sex drive, I have friends who have very high sex drives. They'll fuck like 20 times a day.
I'm saying the bump would be the same, right? If you have a low sex drive, but you have more than one partner, when you have sex with somebody who's not your primary partner, you're still going to get that bump in sex drive that our brain gives us from having sex with somebody who's like outside of our typical sex partner.
Yeah, that's because you're stimulated by novelty, and so am I, by the way. So I don't say that
Sure,
as a negative thing,
but
but
that doesn't
not
make it less
everyone,
true.
not everyone is though. Like there's some people who are not nearly as stimulated by
Sure, this
novelty
is like
as
a broad biological thing. Some people are weirdos, but like I'm not gonna make prescriptions based on like the super weird goofball who's like, I had sex with somebody who's not my primary partner, and now I'm like beat.
it's not an anomaly. Like there's a whole bunch of people. It's not like 1% or 5%. They're just not really that stimulated by novelty. They might be stimulated by it a little bit, but not nearly as much as, for example, you and I would be. And there's some people who are probably stimulated by novelty even more than you and I are, right? It just really has to do with your brain chemistry. Like, for example, why is it that
It's
some
not the
people
idea of novelty though. It is a biochemical response that we
but not
have.
everyone gets that strong response. Why is it that some people can gamble a few times and like never get addicted, and some people they play poker, they play whatever blackjack and they become gambling addicts? Why is it that some people can touch alcohol and have no issues? Some people when they drink they become alcoholics. Like everyone's brain chemistry is different. It's not like a universal thing where it's like everyone is hardcore wired by novelty. That's not a universal
But
thing.
I'm saying you're calling it novelty like it's just this idea that makes it like this. But I'm saying that there is a part of our brains that makes sex more like you typically people are going to have like stronger orgasms, and there's going to be a greater level of excitement because of the kinds of chemicals that our brains release when we're having sex with somebody who's new or who just isn't our primary
I think maybe
sexual
more for
partner.
men. Maybe that's true more for men. I can't speak for
I
all
haven't
women.
seen evidence of that when I've seen sex experts talk about this. They've never said for men,
So,
but
anyways,
maybe.
Wait,
anyways,
that,
finishing my
that wouldn't
thought.
even apply. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
My thought is that for me, typically, and then for, I mean, I know this is anecdotal, but for every woman that I've ever talked to, for the most, I can't even think of one that hasn't agreed with me on this. And I've talked to a lot of women. The more that you have sex with the same person and the more comfortable that you become, the stronger the orgasm. Because for women, a lot of sex is mental as well as physical. But to get in that mental headspace with somebody, it does tend to take time. I don't think
Yeah.
that would be very true for most females.
I
wouldn't
agree
even be-
with what you're
it wouldn't
describing as
even be
being with
true
women.
for, like-
I experience too, and I think that it's just something men are completely unaware of because I think men just find it easier to have sex without ever thinking about that. But I think it still exists.
I
I
mean,
It
think that
wouldn't
there's
even
probably a
apply-
pretty big
I'm
difference in the
motivated by
variance between
novelty.
women that choose to have multiple partners than the women that you're talking to probably don't.
Repeat that.
I said that you're probably going to see a bigger swing towards women that are more in line with what I'm talking about, who are the ones who are choosing to have multiple sexual partners, though.
Which
Yeah.
is a small percent, or that's a small percentage of
It's a
women.
very
But
small percentage of.
that wouldn't even
Sure, it's
apply
a
to
small
me.
percentage of people.
Like
I
I
thought you
have
said
strong
that it was
orgasms with my
biochemical for
girlfriend. I
everyone.
do with like
A
a
small
random
percentage of
hoe.
people that are
Oh, so it's
polyamorous.
biochemical for a small percentage of people. Got you. That makes more
No,
sense.
no. I'm saying that you're probably going to see this. You're saying that the sex is better the longer that, like, the more you have time and comfort, all that. Sure, but you're still getting those brain chemicals when you have some sex with somebody who's new.
Yeah,
Th-
everyone does. Right.
That's
But you were
yes.
specifically saying with new partners. I'm
No,
saying they
I'm
disagree.
saying that you'll probably find women that are polyamorous are going to be less likely to be the ones that say, I need to be with somebody for a really long time to have really good
I'm
sex.
not
Well,
even
no,
saying a
either
really long
that or
Yeah,
time.
they
I'm
will
that,
just
it's
be
not
saying new
true.
These are
people.
separate
either
things.
either that or they'll
I
just
don't
be
think
very
so.
sexually unsatisfied and they won't understand why they're having a dysfunction in their sex life.
And
I
not to
mean,
mention how many
that could
women
be anyone.
fake orgasms too.
Yes,
So.
that could
Well,
be
we were
anyone,
talking
and
about
that could be anyone, and I'm giving you a specific reason because they are like that and they're in a poly relationship. And I don't think that most people are self-aware enough to actually know, like, to that level, like what's going on. You would for you to be aware of that being the case of why you're having a sexual dysfunction, you would have had to have lived both lifestyles and thought about it very deeply and maybe gone to therapy.
I have sex with other girls and I have my girlfriend. I definitely have way better sex and way better orgasms with my girlfriend. It's not even close.
Well, we were
Yeah.
talking about splitting sex drive between partners, and I think that the responsible thing to do, if you're poly, is to know what your own sex drive is, and what you have available to give to another partner before taking another partner on. The same is true with time. You shouldn't take on somebody else who wants a lot of time and commitment if you already have like three other partners and you can't commit to meeting that person's needs. So that's something that you need to talk about with that person, the potential partner, before getting into a relationship with them. And the same would be true of monogamous people too. If you know that you have a very low sex drive or you're asexual or something like that, you might think twice before getting into a relationship with somebody that wants sex all the time. If it's going to be a monogamous relationship with that person, then you might not be able to meet their needs the way that they want.
That was
So,
actually the case in my relationship. Like what happened was actually that while on many like much deeper levels, Max and I connected extremely well, but she was a machine. I was not. I at the time, I mean, ironically, I've grown into being more extrovert, but at the time I was super introverted, just focusing on my projects, whatever, like a hermit. Um, so it actually released a lot of pressure on both me and the relationship for her to have other partners. And yeah, it would become like, occasionally triangles and squares, like I said, um, but yeah, it legitimately helps the relationship because on some cases we were like polar opposites.
You
and
kind of hit
then
on something important is that if it's something that's going to work for you, then it's good. Nobody's saying that everybody should be
yeah.
polyamorous. And
Yeah,
some people it would be a nightmare for, but some people like you, it seems like this actually helps like a really specific situation that you're dealing with. And then it makes your relationships like much better because of the kind of dynamic that you specifically need without
What
putting that
about
burden on the other person.
raising children in a polyamorous relationship? What do you guys think about that?
Studies have shown that it's beneficial to the children to have more than just two people helping raise the child.
Yeah,
Well,
The
because
studies that have been
I
done.
was looking at that,
I
and
got TV studies. I do not believe that.
yeah, exactly. I was
Okay.
looking at that, and actually, the data is not very conclusive, and they said that there really aren't enough studies out there, basically, to conclusively
Sure.
determine
But
whether
the
or
ones
not
that
it
are
is.
out there seem to say yes.
Yeah, but when you
Seems
say
to,
Take some
when
research,
you
right?
say
see some
having
of these
more than one
studies.
person to help raise the child, what the fuck does that
I said
mean?
more
Does
than
that
two.
mean
More than two.
because of course that's true. But does
Do
that
they
mean
mean like? Yeah,
poly?
I think they probably mean like a grandparent or something, not like a.
No, no,
Yeah.
no. The studies specifically about polyamorous households and raising children.
can you cite that
Who is this?
study?
Is
I
it
got
Smashley that
TV
said that?
studies.
I can pull it up. Actually, I might have it bookmarked. But yeah, there isn't a lot of studies about these things. But if I'm gonna go off of just more than just how I feel about it, I have to go with what is available, and it does seem to suggest that. But yeah, I'll find it.
You go with
Okay.
what's available, and then you also go with what you deduce as far as society as a whole. So, like, if there's not a lot of studies available, we tend to kind of rely on common sense or anecdotal experience. And I can tell you
Yeah.
from a personal experience that when I found out that my parents were swingers,
I cried and my grades slipped, and I ended up having a lot of behavioral issues. And this was in high school. It affected me in a very negative way.
It doesn't sound like you had more
Personally.
than 2 people helping raise you, and it sounds like you had a strong reaction to finding out about the sexual proclivities of your parents, which is a
Correct.
pretty different thing, in my opinion.
I think that it kind of is correlated more so than just other things, don't you?
Well, also,
Okay,
swingers
no.
aren't really poly necessarily.
Yeah.
I'm not
So-
saying they were
so-
poly, but maybe I'm just saying that it's an
So
experience.
how did you find out?
I
That's
went
pretty
to go
important.
on their computer because I was looking for this is back in the day, and I was looking for vacation pictures of where we went to Disney World, and ended
Oh.
up finding a file folder of them and all of their activities. Yeah.
Oh,
Now
Okay,
that
were they
I
naked
know that
too?
they weren't
That's very
polyamorous
good.
per se. They were we lived in a small town. They're school teachers, so I think that kind of thing
So, like,
probably
are you
would
saying
have
you
been.
found their fuck folder, like with like nudes and shit in it of them with other people?
What do you think I'm fucking saying? Yeah.
I
Use
mean, I'm
your
trying to make sure
brain.
I
because
mean,
I
this is
literally
like
just
way
said-
more
That's not good, but
traumatic
that's-
than
that's
finding out my
also
parents
very-
are swingers.
That's
Parents
also
Yeah,
very.
no,
That's
it doesn't.
also.
wouldn't
that-
that have happened with anything? Not necessarily like it being non-monogamy, but like just anything sexual that your parents were into that you really didn't want to see. Like, wouldn't that
Yeah.
have
No,
probably
I don't
affected you
think.
similarly? Like,
no,
like
absolutely.
weird
Okay, well,
foot
we know that
fetish
No.
can
stuff
fuck kids up.
or BDSM or no?
Yeah,
What
let
if there were
me
pics
let me
of, like,
answer that.
BDSM
Let me
stuff?
answer that.
Like,
Let me answer that. What specifically bothered me was that it was with other people, and some of them were parents of people I went to school with, and it was very disturbing to me, and it
There's
really
a lot
hurt.
of factors at play here that are not specific to polyamory. So I can tell you,
Yes,
I'm a
there are.
parent,
But
and
it's
we
a,
talked to
like
my
you
kid
said
about
yourself,
it when
it's a
they were like
nuanced
7 or 8.
subject. It's a nuanced subject, correct?
Yeah, but most of the time, I can't imagine anybody suggesting going, hey, the way your kid should find out about it is by finding your fuck folder where they can see you fucking their friend's
I
parents.
don't think that
That's
that would
crazy.
be at all.
yeah.
That makes it
Yeah, I
worse.
would
for
say
Yeah.
that
sure.
this is probably going to be a traumatic thing. The way that we told my kid about it is when they were fairly young and said, hey, you know how like sometimes people date each other? Well, it's not always just 2 people. And sometimes there's additional people that are in the mix. And they ended up meeting several of our girlfriends. My kid's totally cool with it. My kid's initial reaction was, I think that's cool. And they've had nothing but positive experiences with these people. And anybody who's been around my kid knew about my kid in advance. And they were fucking awesome to my kid. This
I'm
is a
assuming your
good
kid is
way
a-
to bring this into your kid's life. The way that it happened for you is fucked up. Like your
Well,
parents are
Elder,
super
I'm
irresponsible,
assuming
allowing
your
you to have the chance of finding that. I would never
Elder, I'm
condone that.
assuming your kid is a boy, right?
My kid is a trans boy. Yeah,
Oh, okay, interesting.
How old is he?
15.
And do you guys raise him together collectively in your polyamorous home?
So it's me and my wife. My wife is not my kid's mom. I got my kid full time. Um, And so, I mean, when we have had a long-term partner at times living with us, yeah, of course. The other person was very much seen as a parental figure. And like they could see like, hey, you need to if they're the ones who's home, like, all right, go do your chores and do your homework and stuff like that. And it was always very fluid.
Elder, do you think that maybe because your kid is trans, though, he's more likely to be open-minded to something like that?
I have no idea, to be honest. I don't know how much that comes into play because it seems like that was around like age like 13 when I didn't have my kid full time, where these ideas sort of like formed. And like when they were 8, none of like gender identity things were really like at the forefront, or like even like it just wasn't, as far as I could tell, a thing yet. So it seems like I have a lot of confidence in the way that we approached my kid about it. We sat down, had a talk with my kid, like we talked
Yeah,
directly
I
to
would
them,
agree with
seen if they
that.
had any questions.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The approach is probably plays a huge role. I would also venture to say that gender probably plays at least somewhat of a role. I think that for boys, like it's like, oh yeah, dad has multiple girls that he fucks. It's like sounds pretty cool almost. Versus for a girl, I don't know, they might take a different spin on that, especially if
Well,
they're
I
like
think when
13,
he
14.
says trans boy, like this was a biologically born female. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
But she, must have had the mind of a guy, hence the transition. So therefore, I would just put her in like the boy category
Yeah,
or
you know,
whatever.
I'm not really sure. Like to me, like the way I think is like they're 15. I don't really care if they want to try to figure out their their identity and all that. It's perfect time to do it. It's not really for me to figure out. They can at least there's no jobs at stake or anything like that. Let them figure it out. It's not. I can never know any of that shit. I have no clue. So I just I'm letting him do his thing.
So how
Okay.
many partners do you have?
Mm, at the moment, we're just like seeing somebody. We don't have like nothing's really been defined yet. So like we're hanging out with and sleeping with a woman right now. That's about it.
Don't
But
let
we've
them
had like
interrogate
live-in
you.
partners.
Don't let them don't do this to Drazi.
But
What are you
why
guys doing
not?
to me?
All right. Well, okay. So the something less loaded because the way that Smashy, the way that the situation you described is loaded with a lot of like other like shit that could have been like made it a
Yeah.
lot worse. So another example that we all like know is a thing. Say let's say you have a single parent and then they get like a new partner and then they like that then that keeps changing and stuff. That is bad for kids. So
Yeah.
so having a rotating cast of like parents, that is bad for kids, and I think that's much more likely in poly relationships. Also, you're gonna have a problem where there's going to be so like who is my mom, like so who do you tell, like so do you say this is your mom and this is your mom and this is your dad and this is your dad, yeah, but like
No. So if we
which
decided to get
DNA,
married to somebody, like obviously you can't get legally married, but we had a long-term partner where we considered having like a spiritual union or whatever, basically an off the books marriage. Then yeah, that would probably be a little bit different. Even my wife, that's my kid's stepmom. They call her that's my stepmom. That's what my kid
yeah,
says, and that's
I would
fine.
want I would feel more comfortable like if I would in my imagination it sounds like it makes more sense if you say stepmom because you as a kid you still want to know who you came out of, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
and like if I
important.
had like a fairy tale version of it, they would probably have some like unique name that they came up with between them and the other person. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
What do you mean
I
by
would like
that?
to.
Like,
Fairy godmother.
I don't think the rotating cast, if you still have at least like a core couple, is actually that big of a deal. Because like I think when I was a kid, for example, my grandparents lived in like the basement tenement thing for like the first like 6, 7, 8 years of my life, and then we moved out, they moved elsewhere, and then they were gone. And then like I had only ever known living with them also in the same building. That wasn't like a traumatic thing or anything, but like two really important raising figures were now gone. Like, yeah, you could visit them later, but that's not really that big of a different later. And then
I think
Part of
I
that
think
it's
it's
I
a
think
bit. I think it is very different,
it's
actually.
definitively like bad to have like so like you're 13 and then you have like a new person that's like filling this dad role and it's like
it's not filling, it's adding to. Like I said, having the core couple in
Right,
the
and then they're
middle is
gone.
well, no, no,
Then they're
no, 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 no,
gone.
no. In poly, you have a core couple of some type, and then you
But
add
the
on
other
to
person
that.
that comes in is then gone.
and it
Right.
also really increases the risk of abuse because in single parent like households when there is a new partner that comes in, their chance of them abusing the kid is really high compared to any other type of situation. It's a
well,
really big
when
risk.
there's a core
Well,
relationship at hand
that's
too, now you
true
have
enough.
two different sets of eyes providing oversight for one, but also we talk about a lot how like the single dad who's having or single mom who's having a new partner come through a lot. We talk about how this is bad, but we don't really talk about the elements of like what makes it bad. Part of the things that makes it bad is that mom is also ending a lot of relationships. Mom is not going to be the most emotionally stable when this is happening. Dad is not going to be feeling great when he finds out that his girlfriend was cheating on him and now she's not around anymore. You know, these are the kinds of things that are also going to
Or, no,
interplay
or the
the
or the
kid.
child gets attached to that person, and then that person's just
This
gone
is
from
the
their life.
obvious part. This is the obvious thing
But
that
that's an
everybody alludes
important
to. So that's
part.
not why. Okay,
But
but
okay,
I'm
wait,
not
that's not
talking about
even
that
the
because that's the
most
part that everybody knows.
but
I'm
that's
talking
not
about the
even the
nuanced things that people
fundamental.
don't talk about.
Sure. That's interesting. But just to break that down more, that's not the most fundamental, important, critical part of to being attached and then losing. The reason that that's such an issue is because something that's like truly very very important for a child's brain as they're growing up is something that like adults often scoff at, but this feeling of unconditional love. And a child has to believe that the love that they receive is unconditional. And
I
if there is a rotating cast, then that becomes very confusing, and it's then if you feel like the love you receive as a child is conditional, your ability to have your chance to have mental illness or like a personality disorder or anything like that goes way up. That's
Yeah, I
what
think all the things that I
disagree
said
with
contribute to the main parent who's around the kid all the time being able to provide that as well. Sorry, Jess, go ahead.
I disagree with the idea that poly people are more likely to have more people coming in and out of their lives, because a lot of monogamous relationships, like those don't work out either. And I mean, it's to me, it's kind of like conflating being like bi or pan with, oh, well, they're going to have, a ton more partners, because like to me, that's just not been my experience. Um, Really, polyamory only means that you have two or more partners simultaneously, not that you have a huge rotating cast of people coming in and out. That has not been my experience at all. I've had like 3 partners in the span of 15 years. So it's
That's
so
great, but
so
like,
but
would you not say that if even monogamous relationships are, and we all see what's going on, like people break up, get back together, break up, that if there's 3, 2, 4, 5 people, that it might happen more?
um I think that I wouldn't say that it would necessarily happen more. Like I can see, like within monogamy, people breaking up and like moving up through people sometimes more frequently than polyamorous people do, and not everybody introduces their kids to every partner that they have.
that's fair.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
really
I
good.
was
Okay, wait.
under the assumption that this polyamorous relationship would typically be like, if it's a marriage or relationship, right, that you guys would all be together like kind of all the time or
Sometimes.
most of
Well,
the time.
how
But
often?
like hold on. For me and specifically, I'm divorced, and I've dated or fucked plenty of dudes since my divorce, right? My kids have never seen any of them.
Yeah. How often
Yeah.
is a poly, like somebody that you're dating, how often are they going to be escalated to somebody that's like a marriage type position to you, that you like want to move in, that you want to
So far
introduce
it's
to your
been
kids?
6
That's, yeah, that's
so far
not
it's been
necessarily
6
something that would
years.
happen all the time
For me it's been 6 years, and none of them have met my kids or moved in. Yeah, but I feel you.
Yeah, and I mean the same is true with poly people. Like not every single person you're dating, even if there's more people that you're dating, like let's say it's taken you a long time to find somebody that you want to be with forever or whatever, that's not necessarily people you're going to introduce to your kids. It would so
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
poly
Wait,
have the
yeah,
Fair
same
enough.
like
Fair enough.
take
tiers of
1,000.
relationships.
Just if you take 1,000 monogamous couples and 1,000 poly couples, you don't think the average body count for the poly couples will be at least a bit higher than the monogamous
Of
couples?
course.
Yeah, it's from the
Um
personality types that often
I mean,
like veer towards poly. They're more open to
Well,
experience
let's
and
let her answer.
temperament.
I just think
um
it's obviously correct. Yes. This is like math, right?
with I don't know, within poly I would say not necessarily. Within other types of ethical non-monogamy, sure, but I know that like there's specifically like there's a large number of asexual people and stuff that do tend to go towards polyamory, because like it allows their partners to like have another partner, and they don't
Yeah.
necessarily, yeah. So I mean, I don't know, like a lot of the people that I interact with, that wouldn't be the case. Like it's to me,
So
it's not. There's not a higher level of promiscuity, at least from what I'm seeing in my poly circles. So
No, I mean, like, sorry to jump in, but like my current relationship in the beginning, there was a bit of promiscuity from my two partners, in that they were constantly having people over and wanted to engage in physical activities. There was a little bit of a learning curve from me, I guess, to determine just like what level of communication I needed and what I should expect in this relationship and stuff like that. But in the last few months, things have quieted down quite a bit. It feels like I just have two girlfriends, and it doesn't really feel any different than that. Like we're all kind of together. We're all trying to strive for the same goals and stuff like that. You know, just like, I mean, my partners have, projects that they've needed to work on. One of my partners has been needing to go to the dentist for a long time. Another one of my partners really wants to get into like producing music and stuff like that. And it's just about, for me anyway, it's not at all about the sex anymore. It's more about, I love these two people. I want to help them achieve their goals. What can I do to do that?
yeah,
And
oh yeah.
yeah.
And it seems to me like a lot of the negative stuff or the cons that people are bringing up, they're really conflating wanting to have lots and lots and lots of partners with polyamory, where that's not really what it means. It just means that you have one or more partner and they just happen to be simultaneous. It doesn't necessarily mean that you want to lead a very promiscuous lifestyle and have tons of partners all the
Right.
time.
Yeah,
No, I
exactly.
get that.
I
I'm
do
just
think that common sense would tell us that it's like probably more likely.
I would say
Well, and I think there are a
statistically,
lot
but
of there are a lot more, there are a lot of younger people that I see get into the polyamorous lifestyle, like 18, 19, 20 years old,
They be
that are
fucking
like,
too.
oh, I'm polyamorous, I'm gender fluid, all that stuff. But like, I feel like a lot of times these people tend to turn to polyamory as kind of an out to not be dedicated to just one person. I think absolutely, there are some polyamorous people that just state that they're polyamorous so that they can, you know, enter a relationship with someone with that understanding that there are going to be other people in my life. There are going to be times that I want to have sex with other people. And some even just use it as an excuse for their promiscuity. And I don't think that at its root is what polyamory is about. I have been reading this book called More Than Two. It's by this polyamorous couple that have been together for a number of years. And there are some criticisms to be levied against the authors, from what I understand. But if you take it at its face value, I think there's a lot of really great things that you can learn, not just about like if you want to get into polyamory, but also about like how you should treat your partners in a monogamous relationship and the things that you should pay attention to in stuff like that. And I think that's been really great, really eye opening, and I certainly recommend it to anyone listening.
Would you link that in the chat?
Wait, before we
Yeah.
continue, looks like there's a question that came in.
Wait, can before that question, can I just, because I want to loop back to the unconditional love thing really quick. Is that okay?
Sure, yeah, but
Okay,
you're the one
so
who
one
sent
of
me the question,
one of
so I
one
yeah.
of one of the things that has made me feel like pretty strongly that I don't like, I'm not open to the poly idea so much. I mean, I'm kind of open to it. Like, I think there's upsides and downsides, but the thing that scares me is that I think that when we are saying that I get this need from you and I get this need from you, then what we are saying is that our love is conditional. And I think it undermines the important thing about a relationship that is so healthy for us. Because
wait. Do you
when it
believe that? Wait, do you believe that that you can have unconditional love for your partner? Like, do you have unconditional love for your
Yeah,
girlfriend?
that's the thing. Like, adults kind of like scoff at. I think that when you have a like monogamous relationship, you are saying that there are going to be things that suck, and we're going to work through it and figure it out. And sure, you can break it all down into conditionality, and you can say, but I think that most people, unless we're psychopaths, don't do that to a very high level. We most of us just have this boundary, or this like bedrock layer of commitment sort of that underlies our love, that makes it an unconditional love kind of thing. And I think that unconditional love, even though we scoff at it and we say that all love is conditional, is fundamental to human psychology. And I think that that's what we need, and that's what we're looking for when we go into these long-term relationships with people. And that's what we wanted from our parents. And if our parents failed that, now we're fucked up. And that's what we look for in our partners, and our partners are always a reflection of our parents.
I think
There's a
you're
big
wrong, dude.
difference between your parents and your partner. You would say you have unconditional love for your girlfriend. Okay, fair enough. What if your girlfriend cheats on you? Would you still love her the same?
I mean, so these type, I think that these type of hypotheticals are unhealthy for relationships to pose.
But a lot of
wait, what?
relationships end in cheating. It's not
No,
something that's uncommon. It happens all the time. All
Sure,
the
yeah.
time.
Yeah,
I
I would
think
have to
that having a
figure it out. Like,
delusion about your level of commitment is unhealthy for you. You
Yeah.
don't have
if
unconditional
if
love
my
for a
partner cheated,
partner.
I would not break up with them immediately.
But
But
that's not
right,
what's
but
being
you
said.
would
If
you
they were
okay,
found
that's
out they
fair
were a
enough.
That's
murderer,
where I'm standing.
But you would love her less, would you not?
No, but I wouldn't love her less. I would be hurt because I love her, though.
Okay,
no.
I
what if
would trust her less.
what
I
if
would trust
okay,
her
what if
less.
she does it what if she does it multiple times?
I would definitely trust her a lot less, and eventually it would destroy the relationship.
So there's a
Because,
condition.
Can I pose an
Oh, there we
alternative
go.
to
So
you?
your love for her
yes,
is
I
not
know.
unconditional.
I already like concede that like you can break down all these relationships conditionally, and there is a limit to a relationship. I think that those limits are elastic and they can be like, so you can like a straw on the camel's back. Like you can push my limits in one direction and push them in another direction, and eventually, if you push enough, then the relationship crumbles. And that's
Right.
just
Smash.
how
So
it works.
your love for your girlfriend is conditional.
It's always conditional when you break it down to that level, but I think that thinking about that thinking about it like that is unhealthy for us, because
No.
It's
it
the
See,
only
love
I'm not
that you're
saying you
putting
should,
it.
I'm
You're
not
putting
saying you
it in
should
that
walk
frame.
around all day thinking about like, oh
right.
my god, there's she's on me. I'm just saying
So
the statement that love in a relationship is unconditional is beyond like silly.
it's
Like
we're
no, it
trying
is
to
absolutely conditional.
yes, I know that that is absolutely true, but I think that like
Okay.
it's important to our brain. Like it's important to our
No.
brain to believe in like
No.
an unconditional love, and to not
I
believe
don't
in
think
it
so at all.
puts us into a psychosis
Let me
that
put
makes us feel like we're like constantly abandoned and everything. More and more that you think like that, the more and more like in peril your brain is.
let me
Like
put a
The
think
whole
only
nother
unconditional love
You
I
don't
have is
want.
for my kids.
yeah like
Okay,
let me put this in a whole
can I say
different
this, please? I'm
angle.
gonna lose my mind. I've been trying to
Yeah,
tell
go
it to him for
go
like 5
first.
minutes. You don't want unconditional love. What you want is specially conditioned love. You want somebody to treat you as though they have unconditional love for you, in knowing that the conditions that would be normally a deal breaker in other types of relationships are going to be able to be exceeded because of their love for you. You want to know that if you fuck up, that this isn't going to be an immediate deal breaker. I think that it
Yeah.
is actually impossible to have unconditional love for a human. You can unconditionally love your dog because your dog is not an agent. If your dog does something bad, you go, that's a dog. They didn't know what they were doing.
so. Do you
But
unconditionally
your
love your
girlfriend
kid?
knows what she's doing.
What about your kid?
No.
Yeah,
If so,
you have
I've
to.
said this before. I've said this. No, I treat my kid as though they are, because I don't think that my kid is going to end up being like an insane serial race
But
killer.
what if
Okay.
they are? What if they
You still
are?
have. They need you to
Then
love
we
them even if you
donezo.
do.
Are you kidding me? Oh my god.
No, I would still love my kid. No, I would.
Okay, I
Yeah.
would still have like remnant feelings for sure, but they would be radically different in how I would treat and engage from that
Well,
point
yeah,
on. Would be
but you
radically
still
different
love
outside of
them.
my control.
Yeah,
I think
You still
Unconditional.
love them.
When we say
Jeffrey
unconditional
Dahmer
love, it means
probably.
I'm going to give you the same amount of love no matter what you do.
What if your fucking dog started just eating other people's dogs?
Yeah,
I do
That
agree.
dog's
I
gonna
do
die.
agree
Immediately
with the
think,
elder
what if
here.
these other people's fucking dogs do to my dog?
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Why is my
like
dog doing that?
probably would
Gotcha.
have
You love your
let
dog more than your kid. Noted.
Okay.
Jeffrey Dahmer would have.
I love my
the
dog
likelihood
differently.
of Jeffrey Dahmer becoming a serial killer would have dramatically been lower if he received unconditional love.
Let me put
Everybody's life
this.
would be different if we
I
had
mean,
the
there's
impossible
many
condition of
things
unconditional
that
love.
played a role there. It was his fucking genetics. It was his, I'm sure it was his upbringing. It was all the fucking his childhood where he was probably bullied and shit. I think there was a lot of
Well,
factors there.
he also had a really fucked up mom, but yeah.
Let me put this in
Yeah,
a completely different angle,
typically,
though.
typically there's multiple things that cause a
Sure.
serial killer, but I do sort of agree with Elder. Yeah, you have much more unconditional love for your kids and your parents, but I think that for a lot of people there is somewhat of a limit. Typically, that limit is like murder or something like that, right? It's not like whatever, something more minor. And I do agree with what he said about like with a partner, you do want to sort of treat them. It's like special condition. Like yes, you'll make exceptions for them that you won't make for other people. But I know that, for example, my love for my girlfriend, her love for me is conditional. If I hit her, she will not love me nearly as much. If I cheat on her, if I, lie to her, and it goes the same way. If she cheats on me, if she lies to me, if she does any one of the, things that I find, unacceptable, right? Because then she's no longer the person that I fell in love with anyway.
But
So
that's
there has to be
but that's
How
hurtful
closed-minded
because
and
I
closed
think that.
off is she really?
But I
Jeez.
think that like for me, when I think about my partners, I don't want to cheat on them and I don't want to hit them, not because I don't want them to stop loving me, but I think that because I actually care about them and I don't want to hurt them.
Of course,
So me
goes without
cheating on
saying.
so me when I see the pretty girl and I'm like, oh, what about a poly relationship? I like that. I don't want to hurt my partner. I don't because like what if I can maybe I could convince a partner to go into a poly relationship or let me like fuck around or anything. But I'm like, but that might hurt them, and it's not that I don't want to undermine their love for me and like ruin the conditionality of our relationship. It's that I actually don't want to hurt them. And when you're thinking about each other in terms of actually what's beneficial for the other because you care, that's the healthy place where you can
Do you think
grow
that's
and
how
you
it
feel.
happens?
Yeah.
Do you
That's
think
not
that
what I was
somebody
referring
convinces
to
the
at
other
all, though.
person?
When you are making ultimatums all the time, if you make all these conditions explicit, that's unhealthy.
Yeah,
I
I
think
said you should
that
treat them like
Okay,
it's
do you
unconditional.
really think? Do you really think my girlfriend's like, hey, babe, if you ever punch me in the face, I'm gonna love you less? Like, do you think that's actually something that's made explicit?
No, it's
No.
usually like, would you still love me if I was a worm?
Yeah,
Would
yeah,
you?
yeah.
What if I had no arms and legs and my pussy was sealed shut and you had to change my diaper? Would you still love me then? This is the kind of weird
no, because
conditional love
Probably
yeah,
bullshit.
not
Like,
nearly as much. No, like if my girlfriend
I
came
Yeah,
would
up
love
to
you
me,
like I love a painting. I would look at you
a
go,
friend of
I
mine
love
told to
her.
his
Somebody
girlfriend,
else is taking
he
care of
said, if you
this.
became a burn victim, we'd just get you like Full Metal Alchemist armor, and we'd figure you'd just be my Metal Alchemist armor person that would follow me around, and we make it
Great
work.
answer. Silly
Yeah.
answer for a dumb fucking question.
Yeah.
So, so there's a whole nother angle of looking at conditionality, I think. I mean, this is how I approach it.
Wait, hold on. Back
Oh
to
yeah, you
polyamory
gotta.
though. Conditionality is great, but back to polyamory. Okay, yeah.
yeah,
wait,
you
first
should
off,
never try to
it's
convince
10:15.
a
I do
partner.
gotta.
I
Sorry,
only
first off,
unconditionally
I do
love my
gotta.
Wait,
extramarital
hold on,
partners.
PW, what's up?
I was just gonna say I do gotta skedaddle because it's 10:15. I gotta get to Whole Foods before they close. I was telling Ashley that earlier. But yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hey, Alex, I unconditionally love you, my guy.
Aw. There
Oh,
you go.
I
All
appreciate.
right.
I semi-conditionally love you, but you know, it's
All
special
good.
conditions.
Jesus Christ.
Nice
Okay.
meeting you.
Special conditions. All right, have a good night,
Okay.
guys. Take it
All
easy.
right. See ya, Alex. Bye.
See
Thank
ya.
you.
Never in my
Right.
life did I think I'd hear the hookup culture guy be like, peace out, guys. I got to make it to Whole Foods before they close. Like, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It just fucked my head up for a minute. Well,
Alex lives at Whole Foods. Seriously.
that's
For
really
some
funny.
reason, he has forgotten to leave, but it's okay because it's funny. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. There is a second question. So hold on. I'm actually Oh God. Okay. So there is an interesting question I actually want to sort of ask. Could there be legal recognition and rights for polyamorous unions or marriages? How should legal frameworks accommodate polyamorous relationships? I actually want to hear some
There are
of
some.
because
No.
discuss.
There are some already. I think it's North Carolina, I want to say. There's like parental rights for polyamorous people that have kids while they're like in a polycule. So like if you're in a triad and you're a guy and one of your partners gets pregnant, the other woman or guy in the relationship also has parental rights if that's like how your relationship unit is when the kid's born. And I think that's pretty good because if this kid is going to be an infant around the parents, not only should the parent have a right because they're going to have a strong emotional attachment, that kid's going to grow up with that person too. And you shouldn't be able to rip the kid out of that person's life. They have just as much value as any other parent would to that child. That child doesn't look at their parents and go, we have a blood bond. That's why I like you. That has nothing to do with it.
A liquid fluid bond, or is that what it's called?
That's
I don't know. That's
very
gross.
different. That's a different thing entirely.
That's gross. Don't
you
say
poly
that to
people,
me.
you guys would know what that. You know what that is.
I think
I don't.
everyone
I don't
should
think
actually
that-
know what that is.
I don't think that polyamorous marriage should be allowed. But to a caveat of that is that I don't really think that marriage is worth its weight in salt anymore, to be honest. I think that
you're a little biased.
I think that marriage should just be a religious ceremony if you're religious. Otherwise, what is the fucking point of it? You can get married to somebody and then break up. Like it's not a real fucking thing anymore. Like it's just ridiculous.
I know.
Memeing right now.
I know. I like the I think that we need to get rid of the there is a lot of shit that's carried over from times when like women had no rights and shit and some of that and some of the marriage is we need to update it, but I do like the legal binding and the economic binding because what it is it's the one. I mean, I'm kind of a socialist, and I think it's one of the most equalizing forces that we have.
You can
It crosses
file your
between the
tax,
class
you can
boundaries.
still file your taxes together if you live together. Why do you need to? What's
Like-
this big like marriage. You know, if you're
I-
not religious, what the fuck? What are we doing? Like this.
I'm
Sucks
sorry.
get
I'm
extra
really not
perks
trying
for
to be
being
mean,
married,
but don't
though.
you think that like you're just like being kind of salty because you're divorced and stuff? This is
Mm,
like this
No,
definitely
I
the vibe
don't.
you're putting
I don't.
out.
I mean,
Absolutely.
Isn't
act,
it
I absolutely
romantic to
don't.
get a little messy?
How are you checking yourself against that then?
I mean,
Because
to be honest,
Because
I was never married, and I don't really
you got
care about
married.
marriage. No,
thank
no, I
you.
was with them
Yeah.
for 9 years. We never got
Yeah, but do you
married.
think that people like
If we want to hit below the belt, like, don't you think that
I'm
maybe
trying
the
not
only
to.
reason you have multiple partners is because you're kind of weird and fucked up, and maybe you didn't find someone that just wanted to stay with you and you alone because you.
You were so bitchy, and I
Like
love
the
it.
I was poly before I met my wife, and I never brought it up to her. And then like 6 years being together, she was like, "Hey,
So you
I
married
also
someone under the pretense of being monogamous, knowing that you weren't. Sounds like you're a
well,
great guy.
actually, if you heard what I was saying, you may have a different opinion. Like I said to you, I prefaced it
I
by saying
doubt
like I'm
it.
really not
I
trying to be
doubt
shitty
it.
to you.
Listen, poly's
Um,
not a sexuality. It's just a structure form. It's just a form of structure. You don't have to hold to it. My relationship went back and forth like all the time.
That's right.
But anyways, no, my beliefs on divorce. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe part of it is because yeah, it's so easy to break that, and because my husband broke it, right? And yeah, that kind of started my journey of thinking this way. But I would say the majority of why I think that way would probably be the last couple of years of just seeing the divorce rates and seeing all these debates and hearing all these things, and I legitimately just think that it's fucking retarded anymore. Like, why the fuck are we getting married? What's the point of it? Unless you're like a devout Catholic or some other bullshit. Like, what the fuck's the point of it? Like, if you can live together, cohabitate, you can still file your taxes together, you can do all these things.
There's
Why?
medical
What
stuff.
are we doing with this like piece of paper? We're like, oh,
so
I'm
Yeah, the
married,
medical
and then
stuff
2
is
years
kind of
later,
garbage.
oh, I'm divorced. Like, how is that any different
outside
than
of
just
like
breaking
legal
up?
reasons,
It's not a
there are
till
good
death.
reasons outside of
It
legal
is
reasons.
not a till death do us part contract anymore. So
Okay, so
I
like it
feel.
kind of never ever was. As long as marriage has been around, there has been divorce. But there is a reason for it. It's because we as a society have heavily romanticized the idea of being married, and it is a way of
I
making a
agree.
commitment instead of just to each other. You're making that commitment in front of your friends and family. So I think it adds a
Then
layer
what?
of
You can still do that.
okay.
You can still do that
What
without
about
Yeah,
getting
like
like I
married.
said,
immigration?
like I
Immigration too.
said,
It's a
if
cool,
my
good
wife
for
and I found
immigration.
somebody that we wanted to stay with together for the rest of our life, we consider it a spiritual union. We don't give a shit that there's no paperwork. It would be just as meaningful to
Then
us.
then there's no argument here.
Sure, but I would still consider that to be getting married. I would just think that, like, cool, the state's not
Okay, I'm
involved.
talking about a legal contract, so then we're on the same page.
So then
I
the other
mean,
reason then why would be for the legal protections.
yeah,
Well,
for the same reason that gay people wanted to get married.
Yeah,
Like,
Like
well,
if
it's
I
be
die, so that way, like some shitty person in my
I just
family can't
think
try and take
marriage
my
in and
stuff
of
from my
itself
wife.
anymore, unless it's a religious thing, is just I just don't I
but
just think it's I just don't get it anymore. Like, what's the point? If there's actually no repercussions, like real
Did
repercussions
you
for
get married
breaking up.
because of God?
No, and that's one of the reasons. Like I said, I can see why you say that, and that's what started my thinking this way exactly. I'm not religious. I'm not a Christian. So no, I did not.
I
It's a big
mean,
part of the reason why I think it should be just kind of a religious thing
I,
We
because
should
the
we should,
holy union, right?
we should split up the religious part from like the financial part, but not the romantic, because I think the financial part is kind of a romantic thing. It's like saying like I care about you so much that like if you like lose your job, my money is your money too. But we should also take away some of like the I think archaic and stupid repercussions. It's like we're saying that if we happen to break up, we're gonna punish the fuck out of each other. We're gonna make it
And
suck so
can you
bad.
not
You
share a
know,
bank account? Can you not share a bank account with
you
someone you're not
you
married
can, but like making
to?
it
Mhm. Can
like
you not file your taxes together with somebody you're not
I
married
know,
to?
but like, but like the construct of marriage is like, okay, we're a partnership because we like love each other, and so that's why we're doing this. And I think that that sort of is is a thing that feels right to people, but it needs to be
Yeah,
more
it feels
safe.
nice. Feels
I'll
nice
add,
saying
it
you'll be
shouldn't
with
just be a
somebody.
religious thing, because then they'd
Yeah.
throw it in our faces like they throw everything else in our faces, and fuck those fucking people. I don't
Well,
want
the
them to
only
have
people
special
that are
rights over
doing it
me.
are like in this world. The only people that would be doing it would be very religious people.
That's
They
what I'm
have
saying. And
God
then
and
they
their
would
church
be
to
using
answer
another
to.
reason to try to say that they're better than everybody else, causing more tension between rational thinking people and the religious.
I don't know if I would believe that, but okay. I see where you're going with
I
it.
think most of the legal protections though are like garbage at this point. I think most of them should just be literally just a paper you sign, like, okay, medical emergency, like same as your medical emergency contact. It's like, okay, here's who's allowed to visit me in a medical situation type thing, for example, which is one of the main reasons the gays the gays want marriage, was because they couldn't see people in medical situations. No, that should just be paperwork. You just, here's names of people that I want to have this available to, and
Well,
that's
it's
it.
paperwork
This is
that
how we
you
do
want
everything
because
else.
you love somebody, though.
There are
Because
quite
the
a bit of
reason
healthcare plans now. There are quite a bit of healthcare plans now where you can have people that
Oh,
are
good. Well, there we
attached to
go.
your spouse or biological child. So that's what I'm
Do
saying. We
you
can work
do you
around. I
think that
just
people
Oh,
would
good.
pursue
There we
this in
go.
equal numbers if the state wasn't involved?
No.
Because I think that one of the things that we're missing out on by like we've gotten rid of religion mostly in society. Like it is like a small percentage of what it used to be. And I still think that there are like human beings benefit greatly from ritual. Like the ritual of getting married. I think that there's a lot of value in this. And I don't think that people would pursue that without the government being a part of it, without
so
all
what?
these legal things that are going into it.
So
Well, then
what?
is it that
I think that
valuable
would
then?
hurt
it's like the most,
society as a whole.
it's a
I think
sex
But
that
it's not
contract.
different.
It's not really.
It kind of is.
No.
It kind of is because like if you just like stop having sex, like eventually the marriage might probably break down or something. But
I'm
it's not really. But it's just it's a legal thing that you do because you love somebody. You want,
Right.
if I'm gonna be a vegetable, it's like you're my partner. If I'm a vegetable, I want you to talk to the doctors.
So you're
I
saying
want
that you're going to marry somebody, but worst case scenario, like you want to have that contract so that they're legally bound to like take care of you. That doesn't sound like you really know and love them enough to enter this lifelong commitment with someone, right?
no. It's not. I'm not trying to make to force them to do something. I'm saying that if I'm like a vegetable, like you're allowed to make medical decisions for me. I
well,
want
that
it to
was the
be you.
paperwork I
I
was
don't
just
want it to be
saying.
my fucking uncle who
You
hates
can
me.
still sign someone to be your
I know, but I'm just saying that it's that, but it's because you love them, and it's that
yeah,
makes it
yeah,
sexy and romantic.
yeah.
does anybody disagree with the value of the ritual of the marriage? Because I think it's not just the legal. I think it's this
I
like
don't either. That's what I'm
it's like a
saying.
Yeah,
Just do the
no.
pseudo like
ritual.
spiritual thing.
Yeah.
There you
Uh
go.
when you're
Agreed.
in front of all your friends and family and you're making this commitment, it's like we talk about rites of passage as like a vague idea. It's like that in its like purest form.
I mean,
Everybody
to be
that
clear, I'm
that cares
not.
about you,
Marry
everybody
10
that cares about them are
people,
watching
have a
you.
ritual, marry 10 people, marry the same sex, marry anybody. Who fucking cares? Like, I'm just
Yeah.
saying marriage in and of itself is just
I
a
mean,
societal construct, and now legally, like, it's just stupid to me. It's stupid anymore. To do it legally. What you're saying is like, I'm giving the government paperwork showing that they can control what the fuck I'm doing. Sorry, I'm derailing this conversation. I feel like, my apologies. That's just my feelings on it.
It's interesting.
No, you're good.
yeah, no, I'm
Both
in
of
the.
those elements have validity to them. I think that what Smith is saying is good, but I just think that I wish people valued more like ritual in life because like a lot of people think the best day of their life was their wedding day, and it's not just because they said I do to the person that they care about. It was the whole ritual of it. It's all this buildup. It's all
And
this
I'm all
people
about the
coming
ritual.
together
I'm all about it.
and all this attention focused in one place. It's very meaningful for us, and we
Yes.
mostly don't have that anymore. It's like the last bastion of like a meaningful human ritual that we have left. What else do we have? Getting to drink at 21 and getting to drive at 16. Woohoo! These things can't compete.
Renting a car when you're 25. Don't forget that one. That's a
Ooh.
doozy
a lot
right
of
there.
Didn't even know about that
Imagine
one.
I
being
actually
able
didn't
to
know
afford to
that.
rent a car when you're 25.
Yeah, right.
I rented
Seriously.
a car on Turo app once. It was sweet because it was a Tesla, but otherwise,
I'm about to rent a car because I hit a deer last week.
Oh my
oh
God.
shit.
Uh,
That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm
It's
not.
a lot of
I'm not.
societal pressure to get married. Like if you have a relationship that you've been in for a long time, people around you, your social group might see it as a failure, or like you might feel that pressure. So like a lot of it is, I think, your social group pushing you to escalate to that point, and a lot of people feel like if they don't, well then there must be something wrong. But
How
mean-
else
Yeah.
are people supposed to fix the big fight that they just had after somebody cheats? You got to get down on one knee and propose so she forgives you. Let's
Yeah,
be
that's
real.
not good. That's not
Yeah,
good.
I know.
How else are you supposed to justify to your parents you knock some chick up? It's like, well, I'm marrying her.
Well, that's the God argument right there. Like, boy, you're getting married, or Jesus doesn't love you anymore.
Or it's
True,
just like I
Father.
said again, a societal construct. I
Yeah.
think society also feels that way. People that even aren't religious feel that way. Like, well, you should be married and have kids, right?
Sure, I think it's
I think
scarier if you
some of
think God
that's
hates you than your
actually.
neighbors hate you.
I
But
think some of that's actually
I
a
do too.
holdover of old times when we had to keep dynasties going based on heritage, so we had to make sure like we didn't have kids out of wedlock, because it would throw off the dynasty. That was a thing for thousands of years over most of the planets, so like that's kind of where a lot of that came from. As
I
well
think a
as
lot of it came from wanting to lock down a person and like secure a bloodline. And with the rates of cheating and people having children with people that aren't actually the bloodline of their husband or whatever. Like
yeah, it
I
was
just think
also
it's kind of
really
archaic.
it was also really good for creating like treaties and like like really large like mercantile
Yeah.
contracts and stuff too. Like
Yep.
we're gonna marry you into the family. That's how strong
Yep.
this contract
still
is
in-
gonna be.
It still does that for immigration.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
So
consider that polyamory is the default relationship status of human beings. Before monogamy is an agreement between two people. Lack of that agreement, you're polyamorous.
Yeah,
You're
as
not
a
limited to
single
the amount of people
person,
you
I
can
I
basically
personally
relationship
just
with.
feel like there would be so much jealousy and uneven amounts of attention and love spent on the other partner. I just don't. I couldn't imagine.
So I don't think it's
being
for everybody. If you have those kinds of feelings, you shouldn't do it. And also, it's almost
Right.
certainly the case that when you meet somebody new, they're going to get some extra special attention. You're going to be really excited. This
Exactly.
thing is new. Like you can get anything new car, new video game, new whatever. You're going to be excited. You're going to want to talk about it. You're going to want to engage with the thing, however the thing gets engaged with, whether this be a person, whether it be like a toy or a car, whatever, new job. That's just how shit's going to go. But if
Right.
you're a person that can handle that and be communicative and be respectful of all the parties involved, it doesn't seem like you're doing anything wrong. It can
Do
be
you think that like there are
fulfilling.
some people that might enter into these polyamorous relationships, you know, thinking they can handle it and then realizing like a year, 2 years in, like I can't handle this. Like
Oh,
you're
definitely.
giving this
Yeah.
for sure.
But that's
Or
also the case
people
with
that think they
normal
can
relationships.
handle a monogamous relationship. They're like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I made the biggest mistake of my entire life.
Right,
I
right.
gave
But
him
I
my
mean,
youth.
I'd go out on a branch here and say that it might happen a little bit more in polyamorous. That aspect of it, that the jealousy aspect of it.
Well,
Well,
there's just so
think
much
there's a
more
lot
to
of
not
people
be
that
able
get
to
into it.
handle
Jealousy
because
exists in all relationships, and the book that I referenced earlier, More Than Two, talks about that. Jealousy in all its different forms and how best to handle it.
Are we at the jealousy portion of this? Because that's
Yeah,
one of
let's
my
talk
favorite
about it.
parts.
relationships can be good for you and they can be bad for you. I think thinking that you can't handle it
You can
is
bring it up.
like
Yeah.
that is the chance that you're right that you can't handle it, or like it could actually be that your partners are insane and you can't handle them. And like the chance that you're actually going to be able to see through all the bullshit and know actually what's going on, if it's actually you or if it's actually them, or like that's something that people need like to figure out years after like being out of a relationship, to figure out what the fuck was happening the whole time. So
Yeah.
I just think there's so much more happening in poly relationships. It's just a very dangerous proposal.
Well, that's why in
Who do
my
you
my
guys think is
opening,
To make a
it's
most
what.
successful poly
Well,
relationship, you need in a regular relationship
Who do you
too.
guys think is the biggest demographic of like types of people that enter into these polyamorous relationships? Right, like,
Jews.
and what I mean by that is like,
I have
trans
no
people.
idea.
hold on. What I
Yeah,
I'm
wait.
curious, like,
D&D players.
what I mean by that.
Oh no.
What I mean.
Actually,
Discord mods.
Also
What I
that.
mean by that is, do you in your experiences, in your personal experiences, do you tend to see like people like the younger people who have never even been married or done this that, or do you tend to see people that have been in long-term monogamous relationships and or marriage? Like, what's your experience with that? Because I'm curious. Like, what is
the demographics as far as age is concerned is as many different flavors as you can imagine. I swear to God, I can't believe somebody said it, but it's actually true. D&D players is the biggest common denominator
Yeah.
amongst polyamorous people by
It
like
is.
the biggest fucking margin I've ever seen. That's so
Looking at
funny.
table.
It's something we all know
Yeah.
in the back of our heads and we just don't talk about, but we see it all the time.
No, like honestly, I hear about
Really?
entire campaigns and the DM, like all the players involved is just one giant poly relationship. Like,
Really?
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
literally.
I
Every
hear
community is just
people
a
that play
poly pool.
D&D that talk about having kids just so they can have more people play with them.
Yeah, that also happened.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
D&D's a hell of a drug.
Yeah.
I
It's
won't
just
play the last
fascinating
session
to
of
me.
my
I don't
campaign
know,
because I don't want my
like-
character to go away forever. It's just like indefinitely on hold. I'm like, no, I'm gonna miss him too much. I'm not pushing to have this meeting.
So, best I can tell, the heaviest demographic, which is basically the D&D demographic, is the psychologically liberal temperament, like the open, creative types, which are also the ones that usually veer towards fantasy, because they're the most open to new experiences, thus new relationships, wanting to meet new people, wanting to be exposed to new ideas, wanting to be exposed to really anything you can get your hands on. I know with my like the big five personality test, for example, like I went through that. Like I was like a 96 out of 100. Like I am more open to experience than 96 out of like a standard spread of 100 people. So like yeah, it was no shock at all that like I was poly a year before I even knew what poly was. In that one relationship, like I got in my relationship when I was 18. Never even heard of poly. What was basically from day one, like it became open layer, then closed and open again, like whatever. But like, yeah, I was like, oh, you're like already with this one chick, but we're hitting off super good. I don't care, whatever, let's do it.
How did that happen for you? Because I was in the same boat. Like I didn't know how to say it. Like I have a girlfriend and I also have a girlfriend. Like I never heard the word before in my life. I was just in this weird situation where like I was dating somebody and one of my exes were around and they were like pretty into each other and it was just sort of like, should we do this? Yeah, sure, let's do this.
Means you're
And I
both
Oh
was like maybe
yeah,
into it.
like
pretty much
20.
it. It was just like, this is happening now. Yeah, okay, I'm fine with that. Well, I mean,
How
here's
many
the other
Polly want
times
a
thing.
have you heard
cracker?
people?
Polly want a cracker? No, I just want to fuck her.
Yeah, right.
How many
But
times
like,
have you heard somebody say when you talk about polyamory? I didn't even know people could do that.
yeah,
I
right.
heard that a lot.
Like,
That's a big reason why there aren't more polyamorous people is because like
Yeah.
me and Tables, we didn't even know that we could do that until like a situation arose. We're like, I just figured
I was
something out
actually
here.
I was
Yeah.
about to ask, do you think that the internet has helped to spread that message of polyamory?
well, yeah, it helps to spread
Undoubtedly.
every
Probably, yeah.
message.
Or that idea, whatever. You know.
I found a really big community on Tumblr. It's like the only thing I ever used Tumblr for. Eventually, the best porn in the entire world filtered its way through my feed because that's what Tumblr was. But that yeah, like there's a lot of people who just have no idea how to think and feel about it, but are really curious and interested. End up writing like for like 4 years a relatively successful Twitter blog. Like I had more people on my Twitter blog than on my YouTube and my Twitch for sure. And I would get messages from people. Some people would be like, "What the fuck's wrong with you? Why does my boyfriend want to be polyamorous?" Like and like blaming me for it somehow, even though like they don't like read my shit. Or some people are like, "Hey, can I ask you some questions?" And it seems like when people have a really like caring and welcoming spot where they can talk about it and ask questions and feel safe doing so, it leads to a deeper interest in it. However, you look at things like Facebook groups. If you're interested in polyamory, don't go to any Facebook polyamory groups. They're the most judgmental, shitty people in the entire fucking world.
Just
It's
Facebook
insane.
period
And a
right
bunch of
now.
those, yeah.
It's
Do you
crazy.
see
And like
more?
if you're in
Do
the
you see
wrong
more
type of
men?
polyamorous relationship, they're like, no, that's not cool here. Fuck you.
Do you see more like men or women being open to being involved in these things, or do you feel like it's pretty equal?
I see
I feel
more
like it's pretty
women.
equal.
Personally, I see more
I
women.
feel like I see more women, but I try to imagine. Or I think that I tell myself that it's probably pretty equal, but it does. I visually
seen
see
more
more
women.
women being polyamorous.
Yeah.
So have you seen many relationships where it's one woman and a few men?
Yes, I've done that.
I know some, yeah.
I've done that.
I would be down for that. I'd totally be down for the reverse harem.
Oh,
Yeah.
We got her,
I
boys.
would.
Let's
I was
go.
thinking,
Yeah,
I
let's
was
go.
thinking the other day, like, so
Wow.
you know how You know how like women like in like a gangbang, whatever, they'll be like in the middle, like jerking off like a bunch of dicks or whatever. I was thinking, why can't like that happen for men, where I'm like in the middle and like they there's like go to like a
See, we
pottery
got
like
him.
thing, and then all the
It
women, and then
can.
I'm in the
Careful,
middle.
you're on the internet.
Smeth, it
Pussy
can.
rules-
It's
pussy rules
super
the
cool.
world. Pussy rules the
Smeth,
world.
if I can do it, look at me. Look at how I fucking look,
If I
motherfucker.
was in
You
a
can do it too.
polyamorous-
Yeah,
if
I
I
know
was
I
in a
can do it, but
polyamorous relationship, it would definitely be the reverse harem. I would have 2 to 3 men, and they would be my men.
You know, and wouldn't you feel cool?
I don't know if I would feel cool. I would probably feel pretty satisfied.
You had a smirk on your face that made me think that you would feel pretty cool if that was the thing. And I went through this thing where I was like, I can't talk about my relationship, and I certainly don't want to argue with people about it. That feels wrong. To where like, all right, I'll talk about it, but I don't want to like be overly positive about it. And I'm just like, I think this is fucking cool, and I'm not gonna pretend like I don't think that it's fucking cool. I'm not gonna be like shitty and like try to flex on people, but like I love being polyamorous.
get
and I'm
it.
not gonna pretend like I don't like it.
You're cool.
I would
And I
like.
think
I
that
would just
there's
like to
Also, the
find,
Warhammer
like,
painting
a
is
kind
probably
group
tomorrow.
of
cycles of
guys.
acceptance with it.
I would like to find a group of guys that would just come serve me and be my boyfriends. You know,
That-
and
that
they
You could probably do that
exists.
pretty easily.
That
no
exists.
more than 3.
All right, gotcha.
Honestly, that's
Let me know.
legitimately that's easier to get than the other way around. Gonna be straight up with you.
Really?
Oh, it's way
I feel
easier.
like you could probably do that
Way
pretty
easier.
easily.
You could have that within like 3 weeks if you tried.
I
I'm
don't
not
even
joking.
know.
Also,
I don't know.
if you play your cards
Do you
right,
really
if you're
want
not
a
really interested in
3-week
fucking
man?
them, you can make a lucrative career out of just like using men as like furniture and like servants and shit.
That's
There are people who would
already
pay
a
to be your
thing.
maids.
That's very much a thing. Really hardcore. Like it's really
I
big.
cannot even.
And you have
I'm
Yeah.
like
gonna
the
need
kind
some
of like
help.
easy to access anger to really pull
This
it
is
off.
so
Yeah,
degenerate.
I'm gonna
This is
need some
actually so
resources
degenerate.
after this is over. I'm gonna need some
Okay, these
resources.
poly
Where-
people are this is what she meant when do you think it's the internet? Like they are spreading their lust filled hedonistic
Yes.
propaganda
She fucking
and
asked,
turning people into
motherfucker.
fucking they're turning people into sex fiends
And we're
and
gonna
they're
get
ruining
you
everybody's
too, Smith.
relationship.
Just give us enough
I
time. We're
just
gonna
want
get you
everybody to
too.
live their best life.
That would be my best life. Yeah. Just
Wait,
you
okay,
know.
okay. I actually have a question. So, I'm wondering, like, let's just say
I didn't mean to
polyamorous
be
relationships
just chatting
become more and
category
more
potato.
widespread, right?
How dare
Obviously,
you?
it's still like a really niche thing, right? Like overall, in like compared to the rest of society, right? But the thing is that like, what if it becomes like this
We're playing a
crazy
different
trend where
game. We're playing the people game.
40% of all relationships become polyamorous, okay? Of all relationships, all right? And then now people have this like massive. Would you say that this is so the question is that I put in, right? Does polyamory contribute or to hinder the pursuit of gender equality in relationships and society as a whole? Because some polyamorous relationships would be 3 people, an odd number, or an even number, or whatever the heck. So how would that be, even out, Or
Meh.
I want an odd number so that they can both fight over me constantly.
You can get that too.
I think that
Yeah.
in all relationships, including poly and monogamous, there are going to be power imbalances. And as it is in the patriarchy, like in as cringe of like a term as it is, like there are more often going to be power imbalances like in the male's favor. That's incredible. That's changing as women get more like money. Like women are earning more than men at a certain age and stuff like that. And some of these other things with
To
social
be fair,
expectations,
Justin,
blah
I
blah
am
blah.
probably going
But
to
I
set
don't think
this up
any
in the
of that
future
is
so the
like
panel's just
in these
off in one
polycules, there's
corner
going
and
to
I
be
am
power
painting,
imbalances
but I
that
didn't
are
have enough
related
time
to
before
like
the panel
sex
started.
and like or not. It's just going to be more power imbalances, but it'd be chaotic. It doesn't. It's not going to reinforce one way or the other.
The power imbalances in sex. If it's like 2 women and 1 man, the women have all the power there. The man no longer determines when the sex is over.
If it's 2 women and 1
That's
man,
why
you
I
got the
want-
dick.
that's-
You got the
yeah.
dick. You make the choices.
Yeah,
If
that's
they're-
right. And when I'm done, they have somebody else that can keep going with them.
Okay. Well, if they want dicks,
So
they
they
got
have
one
more.
option.
They have more power. Well,
See,
they
that's
probably
why I
also have
want
a
2
box
or
of
3
toys too.
dudes. 2 or 3 dudes. Just all about me, baby. All about me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you go, do it. If that's what
You
you
gotta
want, go
load
for it.
the
Well, the
dicks
whole
like
purpose-
an
my whole
automatic
pur-
gun.
My whole purpose of being here was to advertise myself for that. So
There we go. Mission accomplished.
It's a weird introduction
the
for this
fuck's sake?
platform
What
that you're
the
providing for
topic?
yourself.
What
But
about
all
the
right.
topic? What the fuck happening?
Food shops pimp arc. It's becoming real.
No.
Let's go. Let's go.
Man,
You want to join my reverse harem?
It's just
All
a
right,
harem.
you should do it. You should do a dating stream where we have men and we have Smashy here, Smashly, and yeah, and we have Smashly and a whole bunch of men who want to join her harem.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Oh,
Join my harem. Join my harem. I'm down. I'm serious. No more than 3 though. I
No,
can't.
wait, what
I
about
can't
okay,
handle
okay,
it.
I wanted to say something about food
Ask
shops
for ID.
topic. The scary
Okay,
thing
okay,
about
no.
the 40% of the population being polyamorous is that while on the positive side, there would be overall likely less incels. However, the ones that remain are going to be way more fucking pissed off and dangerous.
Yeah.
Oh my God. If you thought they were seething before, they're like, you mean almost like half the fucking people don't even just have to have one partner and I still can't get fucking laid?
yeah. What do you
I'm
mean
buying
there's
10 guns today.
yeah, it's
That's gonna be the future.
yeah, it's like
That's
what do you
the
mean
worst part
there's
about it.
people that can nail like 8 people and I can't get a single one. I'm done.
Yeah, like the red pillars are gonna be preaching like way more viciously to the remaining incels. It's gonna be fucked up.
Oh, it's gonna make some
Otherwise,
amazing
it's gonna be
content
pretty
though.
chill.
One
Probably have
relationship
more
is
orgies.
already so much work, and I have to. It's so much work to have a relationship with someone else and then still maintain a relationship with myself. I feel like just exposing myself to someone else in one relationship, I have to do so much work to like heal myself in private and like with
Damn.
myself.
yeah.
You know,
Sometimes
That's
I've
a solid fucking point.
So there's a big counterpoint to that though. So Smeth, so let's say you have like 100 units of energy you can spend, and you choose to spend about 40 of that on your partner every single day, right?
Mhm.
So you only have 60 for work and yourself and everything else you have to do. But now they also have another partner, so now maybe you only have to spend 20 to 25 units of energy on
Yeah,
them.
but in my world, it's all men, hetero cis men.
Well, that's why
that
it
are
was
just-
targeted at Smeth's concern.
Yeah, so like the thing is, I want my partner to give me that 40 points of energy into my resource like tablet and
Then it's probably just not for
D&D
you,
whatever
that's
fuck.
it.
yeah, I mean
But,
no one's
You must
arguing
have enough
everyone should be
to know.
poly.
I mean,
Yeah,
But
the
I think
guys
this is
in
the
my
solution for
harem
most
need
people.
they need to understand that I'm not going to expend a whole lot of energy on them outside of sex. Yeah.
in figuring out how to like be a better
I think that would
boyfriend
actually be
for
a
my
easier
girlfriend
point.
and her figuring out how to be a better girlfriend for me, and just there's so much personal growth in that I feel like is sidestepped by finding another solution to whatever is lacking in the relationship.
Do you think it's possible to find somebody that's going to perfectly meet every single one of your needs, even with hard
No.
work?
No, but
Okay.
that's the thing. That's the thing. I'm saying that absence, that need and that need for growth, or just living with that lack, that is where the growth. That's important. That makes you a stronger person. It
I
makes
think
you
that's
move
made up and
forward.
it's not real.
Yeah, I agree.
I've
It's
lived
made
it.
up.
I think that people
Well,
that
that's
are
of
more
course you would
fulfilled.
say that because you're poly. I know it for a fact it's real. I think it's made up that you. I think you're
Okay.
delusional.
So then, by this metric, it seems like maybe we shouldn't help people that need help. It seems like maybe being poor and struggling through life is going to make you a better growing individual, and maybe you need to be miserable so you can figure out how to make your
That's
own
not what I
happiness out of
said. That's
dirt.
not what I said. I'm saying that you have a dedicated partner that's dedicated to growing as a person with
It
you,
sounded like you
because
said that
you
the
and
lack.
your relationship with them, you cannot outsource the you have a conflict and they don't meet you in a certain way. You just outsource to someone else rather than trying to work with them and figuring out how to
assuming-
live
Hey,
with them.
Farmer, you figured out
Some
why
things
I'm
aren't that
single
big a
currently.
deal, though.
Sure, some things aren't that big a deal, and some things are though.
Like
But
what-
like and just
I mean,
in each.
What's wrong with
It's so
outsourcing
reasonable.
the things that aren't that big
Also,
a
good
deal?
to see you,
honestly,
Farmer. It's been quite a while.
I'm talking like a lot of smack. Like I think it's totally legitimate. You're the most reasonable to me, poly person here. And I don't know, because these other people are saying some fuck, whatever. Look,
Well,
like
some of them are being silly,
I'm
but
just saying. It's
you
I
know.
think it's perfectly legitimate to like live like that and stuff. But it's just for me, I think that you grow. I need the monogamy to grow. If I
Like-
didn't rely on monogamy, I would be emotionally stunted personally. I would just stay stagnant as a person.
Right, but if you have like a partner who like loves theme parks and loves roller coasters and really wants someone to go on roller coasters with them, and then like you have their partner is someone that just can't do roller coasters, like what's wrong with, them
I just
outsourcing
want to
that?
tell you.
And of course, every single like really big important thing in the relationship, like if they have sexual issues, intimacy issues, like of course that's something that you're going to continue to be invested in polyamory, like despite like maybe outsourcing like some of the fun stuff, like maybe what TV shows your partner hates that you want to watch with someone else. Like if you didn't want to continue to invest in the emotional stuff, the intimate stuff, like the how you want to do all that, then like what's the point of continuing to be in the relationship at all? So I think
Well,
there's
you
nothing
can.
that you
I
take
think
away from that for
you can
me.
find a friend. Like I have a friend that I go do like dumb shit. Like I go and like we try to find the hottest chicken. Like there's this chain Dave's Hot Chicken that like
Oh, okay.
Drake sponsored. So I have a friend that I'll go to amusement parks with, but so like I feel like common hobbies and stuff, that's not the most important thing about a those things are helpful for bonding, but I think the thing about a relationship is the relationship itself and navigating all the conflicts and interpersonal and how to be there and show up for somebody. And
None of
I
that
think
goes
that being
away.
poly
Is your
takes
is your
away.
friend that you do this stuff with a male or female?
I don't want to disclose that information.
Fair enough.
If I could
I
jump
smelled
in
that
really
answer
quick.
coming.
It's a male.
I just I'm gonna have to go. I have to start dinner for my girlfriend. She gets home soon. But
Okay.
I wanted to say that I think one of the biggest reasons that our relationship works is because we're all together. So I'm dating these two, they're dating each other, they're both dating me, etc. And the triangle that we have set up here is unlike a lot of other polyamorous couples where it'll be like one person has like 3 or 4 partners or something like that, and some of them might not know each other, some of them might not be aware of each other. But I think ours is very much based on open communication and a willingness to come to the table and work out our issues. But yeah, other than that, I just wanted to say that.
You're just kind of there to kind of serve, like.
If
But
that's
if
what they
that's
wanna
your
do.
love language, I guess that's
Oh,
fine.
Because
don't
she's
tell me
making
that.
dinner?
Don't confirm all of my
Based
fears.
off
I have
the
some
conversation
concerns. I have some
earlier.
concerns about your
The
relationship and the
conversation
way you've
earlier,
talked about it in the
to
past.
clarify, literally the conversation
Jesus.
earlier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Leaf,
I worry
Okay.
that
about
is
you,
actually
Aaron.
one of the most common
Wait,
forms
okay.
of polyamory practiced. You're
Wait,
not
wait.
that alone.
Wait, listen,
I'm
Aaron,
not
thank you.
judging. I'm
Wait.
just. I
Okay,
was
okay.
just
Aaron
curious.
has
Yeah.
to go. Aaron has to go. So listen, I just want to thank Aaron for coming by. Aaron, what is your YouTube channel? Because I know that.
My YouTube channel is Aaron Green. You can catch
Hey.
me on Twitch at Aaron Green TV. My Twitter is ERNGRNTV, and I think that's pretty much it. If you want to go
It
to
was
my
nice to
website,
meet
it's
you.
aarongreen.tv.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for coming by.
Of course. Yeah, thank you for having me. I love you all. Talk to you later.
Nice
All right,
talking to
see ya.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
I really didn't mean that because she was making dinner. I like making dinner too.
Wait,
It was
wait,
the
wait.
conversation. It was the conversation earlier that she was having. Like, that's
You
why.
just nuked
Like,
the triad, Smashley.
Wait.
You
Smash,
said you
smash,
smashed
smash.
it.
Wait,
Yeah.
Smash. Some might say that you have a skill issue. Okay, what do you respond to these
a
people?
what issue?
What
A
which
skill
my
issue.
what are my skill what do I lack my
That
skill in?
I
you're
think you're afraid of
unable.
threesomes.
That you're unable. No, not that. Okay,
I'm
stop.
hearing too many things. I don't know what the
No.
question is.
No, that you're unable to engage in a polyamory relationship because you don't have the skills to. What would you
Oh,
reply
yeah.
to these kinds of people?
Again,
No, I have to
again,
stop
if
myself every day, every time that I am out in public and I see someone attractive and I start talking to them and I'm like, oh shit, we're about like this can be flirting like in this moment, and I have to stop myself every single time. So
No,
I
I
have
think that's good
it's
because
taking
you're
a lot of
committed
effort and
monogamously.
skill.
Yeah.
It's taking a lot of effort and skill for me to remain monogamous.
You know
so
what's
for
funny,
me,
Smuff?
the
What's
skill,
so
it would
fucking
be
funny, Drazi?
again, I would love to have 2 or
I'll
3
let Smashley finish.
boyfriends, and I'm very skilled, baby.
Wait,
There you go.
hold on.
Okay.
Wait. Yeah, go ahead.
I think that It's really funny that you say that, because the way that I typically explain polyamory to people is that it's me not limiting the types of connections I can have with who. That's basically
Yes.
it. Is that as I'm moving through life, if there's a potential connection there, I don't have to go, sorry, all the parts of me that think this is interesting and want to explore it more. You're just not allowed to, because people decided that there's certain fucking rules that have to be followed, even though they're all
Yeah.
made up. It's all made up. Somebody just said, "Hey, don't do that," and everybody's like,
Yeah,
"Okay."
but those
Like they're a
made up
bunch of fucking
rules are
robots.
what a relationship is, and I frankly I want
Yeah, but we
to
get to make them up if
have
we get to make up
somebody
our
who
own
will
too.
limit themselves, and I want to limit myself for somebody, and I feel like
Sure.
that is the thing that
I
you
think
give
that's what
up
you should
when you
do.
don't do poly.
That's what you're into, then that's good for you.
Yeah.
I think it's healthy.
I
But if you're
mean,
not
it might.
into it, like I said for myself, if I actually engaged in poly relationships, like I feel like it would stunt me. I feel like I would stay static or stagnant as a person. I wouldn't grow.
Yeah,
It's
and I
been
mean,
relationships and the turmoil and there within, and like the conflict between me and one other person, and trying to get my needs met and trying to meet their needs, that has made me grow so much as a person in my life.
I mean,
Do you
and
think that
yeah,
you
I
haven't
would say
experienced a lot
the
of growth in
opposite for me.
I don't know. Maybe you. I'm not
agree with
saying
that.
that you
I
haven't.
agree with that. Yeah, I
I'm
agree
not
with
saying
that.
you
It feels
haven't.
like that's the implication.
But it does take you. Well, I don't want to say have to. But it does take a hell of a lot of like a hell of a lot of work to make it work with one person versus multiple. And you guys said so yourself. You said it yourself. Like, if this person is not feeling the certain way, then I can just go to this person and it'll
Well, it
be like, all
depends.
right.
It's not
'cause
like that though.
It
It's so
depends.
No,
easy
but
to say that, but it's not like that. For me, the greatest like moment of like compresion. Nobody's used this word yet. There's an emotion called
Yeah, there's a reason
compresion.
nobody's used that word,
congratulations.
because we don't even know what it means.
Yeah, I'm gonna explain it. God damn it! It's when you see somebody that you romantically care about getting their romantic and or sexual needs being met by somebody else, and it feels good. It's like the opposite of jealousy.
Is that like a
One day I
cuck?
came home.
What?
No,
No.
no.
No, I
So
don't.
one day I'm
Asking.
gonna give you the
It's-
scenario where it was the best for me. I came
Elder
home from
Drawn,
work one
you have the
day,
right to
and my
say
and my wife was cuddling on the couch with our girlfriend, and they didn't even hear me come in. They were watching a murder documentary because they're fucking degenerates. And I was like, oh, like I just felt I was filled like flush with like positive, loving feelings. It was so nice to see that while I was gone at work,
What
that
if
they
it would
had
have been
each
a
other
man?
to
What if
care
it would have
about
been a
each other.
man? What if it would have been a man cuddling with her with his
Oh
dick in her
no,
ass
another
while they were?
penis, not that. I don't give a
So
shit.
okay, that's why I asked about the cuck thing.
I'm pretty
Like, it's
confident
a
with myself.
question. I
I'm
don't
not
I
know.
get
threatened by
that
another
feeling. I
penis.
get that
I
feeling
love
when I
cucks.
get
I'm
when
all
I
about
when I
cucking.
when I really want to really get in my mind and enjoy some cuck porn. I genuinely feel like I feel that feeling, and I
I
just
feel
don't
like
feel
all
like.
porn is cuck porn. Like you're just sitting
Actually,
there
yeah,
watching
it
it,
kind
That's
kind of
okay,
is.
that's
It
fine,
kind of
yeah,
is.
No,
it's
it
Yeah.
isn't. No, no,
open
it
up your
isn't.
imagination a little, you know?
Oh,
You
No,
the
it
sit in a
isn't.
chair.
Well, yeah, but
The
there's
porn,
also
the porn
cuck
I watch,
porn.
I literally just
Yeah.
watch dudes jerking off. Like, that's my porn. That's it.
So you
What?
just going
Okay,
Omegle?
That sounds like a
okay.
meg. That
Why
sounds
That
like
makes you the
mega
cuck.
cooking.
That's
Hmm.
meta cucking. When you watch cuck porn, you're getting off to somebody else getting cucked. You're like, yes, I wanna
How many
feel the
levels
shame
of
of absorbing
And then
cuckoldry?
their shame.
there's like GoPro POV porn where it's like you are the person, and then that might be the not cuck porn because but
Yeah.
that's rare. It's hard to find that.
Oh,
Well, it's hard to find it when
I was
it's good.
thinking about like the whole VR and the porn, right? Like virtual reality porn. And I was like, if all I watch is dudes jerking off, then what am I watching? Like, it's like
Dude
coming at
jerking
your
off.
face, literally. Like,
Hey, food. I just want to remind you, this is entirely your fault. I'm just watching food's face this entire time. It's great.
Hey,
It's its
cum
own
and food are a
experience.
great combination.
Yeah, right.
I love it. I love it. I wanted to advertise my reverse harem application process. So I appreciate it.
So then, do you want to make it clear that nobody here convinced you were already on this before you
Yes,
got here?
absolutely. Food shops can
wait,
actually
hold on.
corroborate.
I actually have a question, Smash A. So other than your extremely sexually explicit name, okay, all right. So with the original question was, does polyamory contribute to or hinder the pursuit of gender equality in relationships and society as a whole?
The original question when
was
At what
What?
point in time?
What was a
When?
while ago. Okay, I forgot. Okay, maybe it was like 10 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago. Okay, but the point was
Oh.
like, does it hinder gender equality, right? Gender equality, right? So when we're talking about gender equality, we're talking about overall in society, right? So for example, if you're talking about something along the lines of having two men being subservient to you, right? And then
Yeah.
if that is serving as like the standard of something, let's talk about that, right? Let's talk
So I
about
think
whether if that's something problematic or not. So what's your thoughts on that, Smash
I
thing?
think that everybody on this panel confirmed that it would be way easier for me to get a bunch of cuckolded men to serve me than it would be the other way around. That doesn't sound like much equality to me, but I'm okay with it. Women are
It really
taking over
would
the
be.
world.
You
The
could beat the
world is
shit out of them and everything, and they'd pay you.
this is a woman's world, and it's not equality. We're taking over. Here we are. Roar.
Is
Based.
that a
Like,
good
why
thing?
why does gender equality even come into the equation here? It's
I
Yeah, I
don't
individual
just
know.
think
choices.
it just would represent the system we already live in. So I don't think it really it doesn't.
Honestly,
I
outside
mean,
of
I mean, I guess if we live in a world where
Yeah.
like all relationships are like women's harems of men that are just cucks, and like they like maybe they men like they have like a bunch of like mistresses and they like beg to be able to come or whatever. Maybe that would
You
reinforce
can
some
beg to be able
inequality
to
in some.
come.
So reverse
Yeah.
harems do tend to be more of a specific fetish, though. It's not really like mainstream polyamory, I guess. So
It's
and
still
knowing
polyamory.
It's
it is,
valid.
but I would say that like looking at the type of people that generally participate in polyamory, they tend to be more liberal, more progressive, more in favor of gender equality, and actually even people who participate in fetish stuff and like that, it doesn't, it's not necessarily indicative of, you know, not having equal rights in general. um like at the end of the day, like a submissive obviously still has a lot of say in the relationship, even though there's like that power dynamic or whatever. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing, but
I
yeah.
also have a foot fetish.
You're dead on that. It's
Noted.
definitely more
Okay,
liberal.
I
Like
don't.
imagine
Okay,
how funny
we
it would
did
be to
not
meet a
need to know
polycule that's
that.
all like
We
MAGA
didn't.
hat wearing Catholics.
Okay,
Uh,
okay,
Also,
okay. What
polyamory is
what
a
okay.
relevance?
common
What
All
is
right.
the
All
I
relevance
right.
of
guess.
saying that in accordance to the?
So as far as I'm concerned, like gender equality outside of legal matters, outside of law and legality, I think is like effectively meaningless. It doesn't really matter because once you start trying to apply it in any type of non-legal fashion, you're disrupting people's ability to choose their own lifestyle and how they want to do things. You need to let people figure that out for themselves in their own private lives. So I
I
don't
can
really
help
care.
you guys. I can help everyone figure it out.
I mean,
Get this
typically
fucking
in those
lady an
social
ice pack.
dynamics, it's
Pose
really
it.
just
Pose.
it's really just playing at power imbalance, because obviously you can't like actually enslave people, so
I don't know. I mean,
to some extent it's always going to be a fantasy.
I don't know. I believe in my dreams. I'm pursuing them.
Okay, what were we talking about?
I have a question. 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 So what are what are some of the so I actually want to know, all right? So we never really dug into like the specific like because a lot of you guys have experiences, okay? Especially when it comes to polyamory polyamorous relationships, right? What are the specific like boundaries and compromises that you guys and jealousies that you guys have to delve into that are separate actually from monogamous relationships specifically, you know, that you guys are going like, you know what, I don't actually experience this on a kind of, you know, monogamous standpoint that I feel like, you know, people should be aware of. Okay, she clearly got somebody. So like
She got him.
she got him.
Plus
All right.
one. We got two to go.
You know what kind of I'll DM her later. What are the kinds of what are the kinds of things that are going
We
on?
understand the question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, this is the best question you've asked. I'll let
Okay,
somebody else go
thank you.
first, though.
All right, go for it.
Mhm.
Go for it. Yeah.
I think as far as jealousy goes, probably my experience is
she has
very,
to go.
very
Yeah.
different from what like a monogamous person would experience because I'm just not very jealous when it comes to romantic things or sexual things. Really the only time that I ever really experienced like strong feelings of jealousy didn't even have anything to do with polyamory. It was the fact that my partner had a much more active social life and had more friends than me and would go out and do stuff with friends, and I would feel like, ugh, I wish I had friends and be like jealous of that. That's the strongest jealousy I've ever felt in my life. So I don't know.
No.
Maybe I'm just
I'm actually with Jess. I don't have a jealous molecule in my body, and like anyone knows me in person kind of knows that. I'm super free flow. Like, listen, you want to go do stuff, enjoy stuff, by all means, just make sure I have the information I need to make adult decisions, and I'm just gonna do my thing. Like, I'm not. It's almost always a case of me figuring out what other people's boundaries are. I don't have much unless you do something really stupid, in which case I need to know about, just so I don't like fall into the same stupid trap.
Okay, Mr. Perfect.
Yes, I am. Glad you noticed.
Yeah. All right. I kind of have to go eventually. Like I said, I have work at like 6 a.m. in the morning, and
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, of course.
I'll miss you.
yeah.
Aw.
Well, unfortunately, I'm taken.
Ah,
Wait,
I
wait,
said I'll
So
miss
Smith,
you.
wait,
Not I want to
wait,
fuck
wait,
you. What
hold
the
on,
fuck?
hold on,
Chill,
Smith,
buddy.
Smith,
Pump
Smith,
the brakes.
wait,
And
Smith,
only the
do you
brakes.
acknowledge that you can miss somebody platonically? Do you concede to that point?
no, it's impossible.
I sent him one nude ever, and he's been like this ever
Okay,
since.
Smith,
It's fucking
do you see
ridiculous.
what
It was
people
a
mean
prank,
now when they
bro.
say that it might be a skill issue?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's
I'm
just
sure you aren't the psychopath in this situation.
I'm just
There do seem to be a lot of people who disagree with you all at the same time. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Christ.
I
we have
think I
found a
generally do
fringe.
get what you're saying, and I understand why you value the one person, the rock, and all that. But like at the same time, you understand why people don't as well, right? That it doesn't have to be the bad thing that you're worried about.
Sure, yeah, yeah. I think it can work out just fine, and I've heard, but I think I think it very often doesn't work out, and I think it's dangerous.
Do you think it also very often doesn't work out in mono relationships too, though? There's probably something in us that just kind of sucks at relationships.
I think it works out less often in poly relationships.
Oh,
But like, but
interesting.
also though, you also so if it doesn't work out with one, you still have a fallback. So like, so you have two partners, right? The chances
Yeah.
of them not working out, I think, are probably slightly higher, if not depending on who it is. Like it could be equal to, it could be less than, or it could be more likely to not work out than any one monogamous relationship. But I think in general, on as a statistical thing, they're probably slightly more likely to not work out. But in the case they don't work out, then you have a fallback. So like then, so that it's a way you can be. But I just
does that work
value
with
this.
kids too? Like if you have more than one, then you have a fallback kid.
No, with kids you
It
have
used
to
to be
love
that
them
way when they
all. You
died
have
at
to
like
have the
fucking 4 all the time.
unconditional thing. Now Tuna Chip is here. Okay, so me and Tuna Chip, we've talked about this before. Me and him have the same exact phenotype. So you can
What?
him, and also like Nick Fuentes. We have like the same facial hair kind of thing, kind of skull shape. I mean, we're nothing alike, but like let him take my place.
Wait, can I
All
just
right?
respond to what you said before you go?
Yeah.
Uh,
What?
yeah.
So I think that you're right that statistically polyamorous relationships do fail at a higher number, but here's the problem. We don't have the same kind of literature. We don't have the same kind of society that monogamous people have. We don't have like easily accessible good role
You're gonna
models
mute
and
yourself.
examples like mono people have all over the place. What we do have is a bunch of people calling us degenerates, telling us that we're wrong, putting extra pressure on the relationship, not knowing if it's okay to like be open about being poly around this person or that person. We have a ton of extra things that make our everyday lives in a relationship more difficult and challenging than a monogamous person would have, and way less support. So I think that this is a huge contributing factor to things that make it more difficult.
It's real.
And I think that if society got with the fucking program, we'd see those numbers drop.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Smith, you have to go, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Peace out,
Smith.
buddy.
Closing
Okay.
statement. Go.
Everybody, never be a poly ever.
Jesus. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, okay, that's your takeaway from this entire experience. Okay. I mean,
No, okay. So like
you
even
know.
in the world that Drazi just like described, I think that would make it more likely to work better and stuff. But I really do, and I don't want to force my values on anyone else. But like
But he's
from
gonna.
me, from my reality, from what I perceive, I know I'm different. I mean, there's different people, but from the way I see it, it just like you're losing that that partner of personal growth experience. You're losing somebody who's going to work on
That
themselves,
rocks.
and you're losing out on some of that. That's what I think.
Okay. All right. Where can people find you?
Real Smith on YouTube is my main place. You know how it is. You'll see me there. Um, just fucking go over there. All right, bye.
Okay. All right. See ya.
Food shops. I can answer your question now. I just wanted to get Smith before he had a dip.
Wait, hold on. Tuna, I server muted you because you have a lot of background noise. You're driving a fucking car, okay? I don't know why why the fuck you're driving a fucking car while joining a fucking panel, okay? But you
He
are
does it all the
somehow
time.
but somehow you're fucking doing it, okay? Because you're stupid, okay? All right, I don't know who you are, but you're driving a car while joining a panel, okay? But you have the audacity to do so,
These good people.
and your internet connection fucking sucks while you're doing it, and you're not even good at doing it, okay? All right, so tell me, let me know when you have a better internet connection, all right? But for now, let me know when you have a better internet connection. Bye. Okay, all right. Okay, anyway, answer my question. What's up?
So more often than not, I'm in a triad relationship. Not always, but more often than not, that's how it goes. And like rules and boundaries, I don't really do rules. I think that that's so there's this idea that's not really just an idea. There's a thing where if there's a third person coming into an existing relationship, that there is going to be a perceived and to some degree a very real like amount of privilege that the couple has. And I do my very best to eliminate that at every corner. So I'd say like there's no rules here. If we're going to be an open or closed triad, we always leave that up to the person who's entering it. Like, hey, how do you feel? Do you want the three of us to be able to see other people, or do you want to keep it closed? I think that's one of the great ways to balance that out. And then I don't enforce any rules on anybody because boundaries aren't saying you can't do this. My boundaries are I don't want to do this. Um, but the one thing that I suggest and the one thing that I always absolutely follow is that person A, if person A and B get into a fight, we do not vent and complain to person C. If you want everybody to be there when you talk about it, totally fine and acceptable. But it's never okay to say things negative about the other person because of a dispute or disagreement or something you guys had. This is toxic and it'll ruin a relationship. But that's pretty much how it goes. And then it's like a sit down meeting essentially. Like, does anybody have any concerns? Does anybody have any questions? Like we need to work this out. And obviously things can be amended and changed as you go, and people should always be able to have their voices heard. But this is the kind of communication that I think is the best to approach really any poly dynamic, at least if there's going to be any kind of like kitchen table poly happening anyways. Does I guess kitchen table poly is where everybody involved in with if there's somebody involved with anybody in the polycule, they all like could sit down and have breakfast at the kitchen table is the idea. They all know each other.
What do you say to the people who call you like an emotional cuck?
I would say what? I don't
Like
understand.
if like for example you were talking about like watching your wife getting cuddled, right? And then feeling warm.
From
Like
Parisian.
right. Like for people who would like mock you over that, like how would you giga chad your way through that?
I would say that uh, I, I, I'm sure that I have the propensity for jealousy and envy, but it's more like a bee sting. And these insecure fucks act like when their partner does something that makes them feel jealous, a nuclear bomb went off and they have to go throw a brick through their fucking car window, and all the rest of society cheers it on. I think that this type of behavior is psychotic. I think if you can't handle your partner being fulfilled by somebody else, even if it's not in a relationship and it makes you go fucking batshit insane, you're you're batshit insane. You're just letting it out right then because people will let you. People will cheer you on. They'll make you feel good about it instead of shaming you like we should in a fucking civilized society. I think that's the craziest shit. I'll never understand how monogamous people get to act so fucking crazy and have it be socially accepted. It's wild to me.
I am 100% with Drazzy on this. In that, yeah, like the whole thing, honestly, because I just want the people that I care about to be happy, whatever that entails. Like seriously, like it doesn't require me necessarily. It's cool when it does, but like I'm not gonna get butthurt if it doesn't. That's seems hyper selfish to me. And as for security, I mean, like, listen, if you're not secure enough in yourself that even if they all did all like all of them just went away, and while you'd be like sad about, but it would break you, you need to work on yourself. You need to be able to stand on your own 2 feet, like of your own volition. Or you probably shouldn't be in a relationship because you're going to become codependent real hard.
Do you know what I want? I want monogamous people
I want
to
cake now.
Sorry, continue.
I want monogamous people to have a good internet connection. I think that's what I want because I actually want some schizo on here to go hard at polyamorous people, but unfortunately, it seems like Tuna Chip actually has a fucking terrible ass. I just don't get it. I just
Tuna
don't
has base
understand.
takes on polyamory.
Really?
Yeah, like Tuna's like Tuna and I met Twitch streaming and shit together, but like we're IRL homies now. We've met up in real life. He's has the most verbose and like philosophy pilled takes on polyamory, and they're all pretty fucking great. But they're definitely from a different lens. I would
Now,
say that.
I actually have a question for you guys, since you guys are all polyamory fans, okay? And not only just, cringe ass 20-year-olds who, just tried it out for the first time and are like just experiencing it, right? And you guys are like veterans, right? So my question is this, like, how do you guys what are your thoughts on like open marriages? Like, what's the I guess there's a like big difference, right? But between these two, well, not a big difference, but like
Technically, but like they do
the
hybridize
difference.
very well.
Like yeah, sure, yeah. The thing is, I guess, like, how do you guys view these like two? Like, how do you guys view the two communities? I guess like
It's totally fine and valid, but on a personal level, it feels cold and detached to me. Like I couldn't do that. But like if that's your thing, fuck it. Who cares?
Oh, when I let myself, I'm kind of a party animal, so like, let's go. If everyone's happy and like consenting, then let's rock.
I think that you
Yeah,
can have that element. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, please. I don't want to cut you off.
I was just gonna say that I don't have a lot of experience with that relationship style, so I really couldn't comment on it too much because it's not something that would be for me.
Yeah. No, my ex and I would like go to parties and talk about it in the way they're like, okay, are we gonna go like power couple look for people, or are we gonna split up and then almost turn into like a game? Like who can nab someone the fastest or something like that. Like we would make a whole like a play of it. It just depended on what we wanted to do that time.
Yeah, I think that you can, if you want to like just be able to hook up with people too, but I think the idea that other people are only there, like the only way that you can have a connection with them is sexually outside of your relationship. That feels like putting that limiter on it is like it seems like you're going against a part of you that also exists, where like understanding that if you're close enough to be able to like have sex with somebody, especially if it's like a repeat thing, you're probably gonna have some emotional things that you have to stuff down. And I feel like that's just kind of cold, like to not just the other person, but like more so to yourself. It just feels that seems so weird to me.
Yeah, I think you want to be careful that you're not using other people that you're bringing into, like, one of the things that people talk about a lot in polyamorous groups is like couples that are a married couple that will like bring in a third person just to kind of use them as a toy, and like maybe that person consents to it and it's fine, but like a lot of the times there's like a lot of hurt feelings that come from that. And
Unicorn hunters.
yeah.
Oh yeah, well
We have a word for that.
what I'm referring to is more like the one night thing, or like the on occasion thing when they're in town kind of deal. Like it's those are specifically not designed to be like deep or consistent or anything, and that's discussed like
think you're good.
beforehand. Yeah.
I think that like obviously Jess is aware too. I think one of us would have called you out if you sounded like a unicorn hunter there. Like
Yeah.
that's the duty of people that are responsible in polyamory, is to try to call out people that are like this. I just think that sometimes it gets overcorrected. And if you're in a triad at all or like a quartet, people be like, you're an abuser. You're just using it. Like, you don't fucking know that. But there's some pretty obvious fucking signs.
Yeah.
Like I said, one of the big ways to try to shift that power balance is say, do you want it to be open or closed to the other person? And I think like my wife and I tend to go out of our way to make sure everything that makes sense for the other person to be included in that they are. Like if they're not like, I've seen people that are also overcorrected weird. Like I can't go grocery shopping unless all three of us are here. Like chill the fuck out, okay?
Yeah, no,
That's
that
stupid.
stuff's weird.
And that's actually toxic in its own way.
It's codependent.
Yeah, you're just setting up a trap for somebody to do something and be like, oh, you're fucking up, and now like I don't know whatever the repercussions are. That's fucking stupid and it's unhealthy, I think. But I just think that people can do things in a really bad way, like Jess said, and people should be aware of that. There are people out there that aren't really poly that act like they are, and they just want to use another person for their own sexual gratification, and that person ends up usually getting pretty traumatized by it.
Yeah.
And
I,
it gives
I
the
get
rest of us a bad
so
name.
many, yeah, I get so many women that will message me and like they won't say anything about the fact that they like want to date like with their male partner at all until we're like deep into it, and then we're talking about meeting up to like maybe have a date, and they're like, okay, well, me and my husband or boyfriend are gonna be there, and I'm like, wait, you're who? What? I don't know who this person is. I don't know their name. I've never even seen their picture. Why did you just try to trap me into this? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's so common.
Yeah.
My wife, there's a lot of times she's like, I just want to have a girlfriend, and she'll go on like Tinder or something, and that's every single time she's like, I'm talking to this really cute chick. Look, and I'm like, for just you? She's like, yeah. I'm like, oh my god, good job. She is really cute. And then like a half hour, like, she's fucking married. Like that took way too long to find out. That's
Yeah.
really fucked up. Yeah, a lot of manipulation, a lot of like little tricks like that to like trick you basically. Like the pretty girl is it's almost like the guy is using his pretty girlfriend or wife to like bait women in and really be
Yeah.
like, haha, we
I've run
got her.
into
We
that so
fucking got
much.
her.
Yeah, no,
Like
I've
till
run
she's
into that so
invested enough
much.
to not like you say yes to all these things and you're so far in that like saying no feels really weird now that you're like kind of invested. It's fucked up.
Yeah. It. I don't know who thinks that would really work though. Like if that happens to me, because
It has to sometimes.
it does feel weird to like say no and to like try to back out. But like I just ghost people like that. Honestly, if they're gonna be that
That's what she
dishonest,
does
then
too.
like I
Yeah.
just ghost them.
But it must work on some people, and that's scary. Because I've met people that are like, oh, I tried that before, and it was really bad, and they tell me this horror story. Like even the woman that we're seeing right now, this couple that she was with, I guess they were smoking and stuff, and she had like a bad fit of anxiety. So she's like, I'm gonna go get checked out at the hospital. That's never happened to me before. And they're like, I can't believe you did this to us. I'm like, what?
What?
And they're
Yeah,
like,
it's
don't
weird.
ever talk to us ever again. I'm like, that's crazy people stuff. And
Yeah.
then as you hear more things about the relationship dynamics, you're like, oh yeah, that was really bad. That's fucking crazy. There's a lot of people out there like that. And I think it's probably pretty hard for people to differentiate like what I hate the phrase, but like ethical non-monogamy is versus like people that are just out here trying to like fuck another woman into their relationship is
Yeah.
basically all they're
Which
doing.
actually, on that point, I am seeing Food's chat. I see there's what's wrong with married women if you're in an open relationship seems hypocritical. The problem is not that like they're married or that we're in an open relationship. The problem is that they didn't communicate what their actual status was and what the situation was up front, and whether or not they have an open marriage or not, because like you just found out that they're in one to begin with, and a lot of them are not in an open relationship. They're just straight up cheating, which puts you in an immediate like really bad situation if you were to actually go through with it. I mean, even just going that far, theoretically, if the guy's a nutcase or the woman's a nutcase, you might already be in hot water. It's just super manipulative right from the get-go.
That's super common too. I'm polyamorous. My wife knows all about this, but she doesn't.
Yeah.
That's really bad too. This is unfortunately pretty common, but these aren't polyamorous people that are doing this. These are bad people taking the moniker to do bad things.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also one time I went on this date with this girl, and I knew that she was married, but she was looking like just for somebody for her. And while like the way the date went was the whole date was basically her talking about all her problems with her husband, how much she didn't like her husband. And so like I just got the vibes that like she really just wanted to like find somebody to like kind of
She
screw
needed a
over her
friend.
husband. No, well,
Oh.
not even just a friend. It was like it felt very toxic. Like it definitely felt like, you know, she just like really wanted to make him jealous, or like the fact that he was dating somebody but like she wasn't really okay with it, so like she just wanted to like get back at him, or like have her own person to like make him jealous back. It felt very toxic, very toxic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
setting up for that revenge porn right there.
Yeah, that's I don't know if I've heard of that one, but there's a lot of really like people talk about people who aren't polyamorous like to talk about how hard it is to make the relationships work, but it's really hard to find people that are actually open-minded and actually know what they're talking about. Like if I'm talking to somebody and they say that they're polyamorous, I'll kind of like throw out a couple like bait questions. And when they say something that's like, "Oh, I know that you know." Like when you said she was just looking for her. That's such a common phrase for me. Like I was just like, "Oh, yes. This is like I know that you know what you're talking about." But like people who aren't poly probably are just like they might have to take a minute to like guess what you mean by that. Maybe
Yeah.
I don't know, but there's just certain things that people say in the way
Yeah,
that
it's
they word things and
definitely,
approach things.
yeah, definitely green flags if you see certain terms, like people describing their style of polyamory. Like you said, kitchen table polyamory. To me, that's a huge green flag if they know what that means. Yeah,
I
mine
actually never
is
heard it, but I understood it immediately.
yeah, mine's garden party polyamory. So like not quite as
Now, what do these
involved with all
different
the
terms
partners.
mean?
So it's basically how involved you're gonna be with your partners, and like just kind of the way you set up your relationship style. For me, I don't get like super involved with my partners. We're not like best friends. We don't hang out. We don't like kitchen table polyamory is basically you could all sit around the kitchen table and like have like breakfast together, and like you're all pals. Whereas I like to keep myself pretty emotionally separate from the people that my partners date, just because I don't know, to me it makes it easier for me to navigate the relationships, because like if I have a partner and something's going on with them with one of their partners, I want to be able to look at it through just that partner's lens and like just support them, and not have like weigh in with like, oh well, you should be nicer to like Abby, she has all these points. Like I just want to like have that support for my partner. Like, and if like my partner is happy with their partner, then I'm happy with the person they're dating. And if they're not happy with that person, then I'm not happy. So like I just want to be there and have that support rather than like have it more of a messy web. And I know that like that does work for some people, like the people in triads and stuff, like that's fine, but it's just I don't know.
If the
I
web
like
was
it
too
more.
big, it would be too much for me.
Yeah.
Like what you're talking
Yeah.
about, if let's say you had like 3 partners and they each had like an additional one, like that's a lot of people for me to be like tracking
A
and
lot
stuff.
of
Also,
emotions to manage, yeah.
yeah, also the word for your partner's partner is metamor for
Mhm.
food shops chat.
Mm.
We got words for stuff.
Yeah, like Paramore, but like meta levels of like your partner's partner is like a
So
meta
you
level.
guys, so you guys name stuff after Shakespeare and uh
We inherited
biology.
these words, all right? We didn't pen them.
Okay.
I've only
Interesting.
made up one word in my life, and it has nothing to do with this.
Yeah, one of my mods is actually polyamorous, but I never really figured out, her entire thing. So I found it interesting. It's definitely interesting. Maybe this is the beginning of the food shops polyamorous micro community, wherever the heck
um,
that means.
then let me help you. I just want to vent on behalf of all polyamorous people. When monogamous people talk to us about it, we know you could never do that, okay? We know you'd get way too jealous. We don't need you to tell us. That's why you're not polyamorous. If you're talking to us about it all, we know that you know that it exists. We get it. You'd be too jealous. You could never do that. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Similarly with vegans, like I can never do that. It's the same thing. We know. You don't have to tell us.
I tried
Okay.
being vegetarian once for a year. Did not agree with me. went pretty bad.
Are you trying to tell me that you could never do that?
Yeah, I could never do that. I get pretty bad. It's pretty
God
rough.
damn it.
Nice. Okay, cool. Awesome. I think this is the end of the panel then. All right, Elder Drazi. If there's nothing else, then let's begin with Elder Drazi for closing statements. Where can people find you and closing statements? Go.
You can find me on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. I'm mostly doing YouTube and Kick because I'm going over some videos that have people that are banned on Twitch, so I'm not allowed to stream on Twitch. On Twitter, everything's just Elder Drazi. You can find me. I say I really appreciate you having me here. I can talk about polyamory all the time. I'm really invested in like the broader overall community of it, and just like helping to be like a positive person who talks about it, because there's a lot of garbage people like using the moniker, and there's a lot of people that have like weird ideas, and I think we need good people to promote the better ideas about it. So I really appreciate it. I thought it was gonna be a lot more fighty, so I have all this energy still. But it was fun, and I
listen,
appreciate it.
we were literally gonna have Quibbles on, and somebody suggested Andrew Wilson. So listen,
Andrew, oh my god, I'm debating counterpoints about this. Next month he's busy through the holidays. He said
you're gonna
but he
debate
said some of the
counterpoints
dumbest shit.
about polyamory.
Yeah, he said some of the dumbest shit on Twitter, and I was like, "There's no way. Either he's trolling or like he's stupid." And either way, I was like, "Connor, if you want to debate me on it," he's like, "Sure." I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna win."
Well, listen. Just don't let him dribble on too much about
I'll have a moderator.
his
I don't
insult.
do one-on-one debates without moderators.
All right, yeah, because he has very long drawn out ad hominem attacks. All right, just
He's a Warhammer player. What do you expect?
Oh, thanks, man. Jeez.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, listen. Table
magic
came from
nerd.
his community. All right. So
Yeah.
he could tell you. All right. All right. Cool. Elder Drazi, finishing statements.
Oh, those were
That's
mine.
it?
I appreciate you guys. And Table, it was nice to meet you. And Jess, it was nice to
You
meet
as
you.
well.
It was really cool to hear your guys' experience and stuff. I love talking to other polyamorous people about like their poly shit. It always just makes me feel good.
I mean, feel free to friend request me. I'm super open on DMs and chatting and everything.
Cool. Awesome.
Consider
All right.
it done.
Coolio. All right, Jess. All right.
Yes. I am Jess Anderson on YouTube. I mostly just sing stuff, and it's not really like popular music, so it's probably not stuff most people want to listen to. But if you want to check it out, you can. I don't update it very often, so it is what it is. As far as a closing statement on the topic, I would say poly good if you are responsible enough to handle it. Monogamy is also good if that's what you want. So.
Right. Cool. Awesome. Thank you so
Case
much
closed,
for
it's closing.
joining us. And Table.
Yeah, I'm at Basically Tabletop on YouTube, Basically Tabletop also on Twitch, Kick, Rumble, basically A Table on Twitter because I couldn't fit the whole thing, and a couple other places. But yeah, those are the ones I stream on. I stream painting, and lately I've been deep diving like various real life topics while painting and discussing them, and I'm trying to get more into the debate space. This week should see us beginning to jump into the U.S. real estate market and why it's become an absolute nightmare. Or is it a nightmare, actually? And, really try to get a grasp on that. And I stream as often as I can, which lately has been like 3 days a week-ish.
Okay, awesome. Thank you guys for coming.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
All right.
Have a good one, everyone.
Farewell. Bye-bye.
All right, so that was that stream. Have a good one, everyone. I'm out of here.